That is what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome all of the Goglings, the Gogorifics, the Gog types, the Gog peoples to another episode of, where exactly is my splash screen that we have here? Pen and Pixels. There you go. This is the show that we do here every Tuesday on GOG.com's Twitch channel from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh my goodness, Wolf Soul with a subscription. Thank you, Wolf Soul, so much. Wolf Soul 87. Thank you for the 38 months of support. We appreciate that. And we are here for you with D&D with GOG Ghosts of Saltmarsh. 2 weeks in a row. Our cup runneth over with D&D. It is also the final D&D stream for me of this month because it's August 31st and tomorrow September arrives. With it fall, which I like a lot in some ways. But on the other hand, summer is dissipating and fading away. But it will be back and we are going to look forward to a really fun fall with all of you. Before we get any further, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow the channel. Please make sure to support us here on GOG.com by subscribing, as Wolf Soul just has again, to the GOG channel. And please make sure, if you have not done so already, to consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels as well, because all of the streamers here have individual channels and subsystems and Patreons and YouTubes and all that kind of good stuff. So please join us in supporting all of the streamers here as well. And yes, Echo has no inspiration available to give our players because Echo had to use it to try to save a dog from corruption. It was totally reasonable. It made sense. And yeah. But we are here and I am here specifically. He said, hello, everybody. Welcome all. We are here for episode 291. Wow. I'm 9 episodes away from 300 episodes of Pen and Pixels. That is, woo, that's quite a milestone. But we are here and we are excited to be able to get back to some Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We are going to be here, I believe, until, let me just double check. We are here until Crocs. Crocs is going to be here tomorrow. Debatable button. Thank you for the follow on GOG.com. But we will be here closing up shop here today. So we are excited to sort of get things going. And I am very pleased for Pen and Pixels and for the crew that I'm about to introduce to all of you lovely folks. And so I'm going to unmute myself to allow the fine people to know that we're ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute them. I will apologize for interrupting them as I may unwittingly have done. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to reveal to you this fully operational space station. No, I'm just kidding. It's a fully operational group of players, and that is the amazing D&D with GOG crew back for more Ghosts of Saltmarsh. As if it weren't enough, I called it the sinister secret of Saltmarsh, and they were like, yeah, but we're still going to go into the haunted house, and we're still going to do what we need to do, and they have defied things and they just had some weasels and some snakes to deal with. No big deal. And howling from the basement. It's fine. It's all fine. I hope everyone is excited as I am for this adventure, and I am going to, no further ado, welcome Pyron into the mix. Pyron Jade, who is, of course, our fearless leader. It is good to see you, Pyron. I hope all is well with you. I happen to know that Pyron had some ice cream earlier, so I just want to point that out, that for those of you who haven't had ice cream, you know where to place the blame. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where I'm going with that. But no, Pyron had ice cream. I am curious as to what flavor, Pyron, and I want to know how you're doing and who you're playing today. What flavor of ice cream was this?
Just very happy to be here. And
but what flavor of ice cream was it though, Pyron?
Like cookie dough chocolate stuff. It was a Ben & Jerry's.
Okay.
It was Ben & Jerry's dairy-free ice cream.
Okay.
And I sometimes can't have dairy, so I was like so happy. I was so happy.
I'm a non-dairy person as well. I love the Ben & Jerry's dairy-free alternative.
I had it for the first time. It was wonderful. I'm happy.
It's amazing.
Yes. So, and I am, I'm fine, as you can see, because I had lots of ice cream and there's still more in the freezer. And
super fine.
I'm playing Waves Crashing Against Rocks. I'm going to play the sound effect, although 8-Bit and I found out that it's not coming through the Zoom exactly as it should be. I'm going to fix that until next time.
Okay.
Still going to play it. This is her name.
Yeah.
It sounds so good. And when
that's
I hear
how
it
I
on stream,
pronounce
like, no, that's not the... And yeah, she's a Kenku paladin. For those of you who don't know, Kenku do mimicry. They can only repeat and produce things they have seen, but they are expert forgers and also really good at doing other people's voices, because that's all they can speak with. So whenever I say that I say something, I will press a button here on my trusty soundboard, and that's how you're gonna hear her speak. Just so you know, because I know it sometimes can be a bit confusing on stream. I will try to move my lips when I do, but I sometimes forget.
I think Pyron has taken up, by the way, all of her hard drive with increasing numbers of sound effects and everything. Like she always comes on and she's like, I downloaded another 5 gigs from this place and everything. She's going to start firing multiple languages and stuff at us. And, it's going to be great. I am very excited to have Pyron with us as always, and I'm very excited as well to have Darksaber 2K making his triumphant return again here. It is good to see you, Saber. As always, the goggles are on point. As always, thank you once again for the Moobot and dashboard and all that kind of good stuff. Saber was actually in my channel just before this, watching my players that are in big trouble, surrounded by wargs, and was talking about how it reminded him a little bit of Celsig, being surrounded by skeletons at a certain event that may have happened with his GOG crew. Which reminds me, if you haven't already done so, you should go subscribe to the audio podcast being put together by Fleos, because that thing is really cool and you can catch up on the Storm King's Thunder adventure, which preceded this. In any case, Saber, it is good to see you. Thank you again for that help. How are you doing today? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing?
I'm a little tired for some reason. I don't really know why, but I'm doing really, really good. And yeah, it was nice to see a party in trouble that I'm not involved with.
See, other parties get in trouble too.
Yeah, it is a kind of refreshing just to be sitting back going, I don't have to do any clutch rolls.
That's true.
But tonight on this adventure, I will be the apparently unflappable dwarven artificer Morthoil McGogonians, who, along with Waves Crashing Against Rocks, are just kind of at the top of the stairs going, well, there's something down there, while behind them there's absolute terror breaking out.
Yes, it is good. But, you and Waves are, you're like, it's kind of not great to hear that, but it's not a big deal. As opposed to our next two players whose characters are like, Jesus, what the, they are freaked out. So it is good to see Darksaber. Thank you, Saber. And moving right along, as you can see, we have been joined not by the lead singer of a confused goth boy band, but in fact, we're talking about one, Mr. I know it's hard to see, but behind all the cosplay awesomeness, that is actually Peripheral Mike that you can see there. It is good to see you, Mike. Again, I mean, listen, it's all on point. You all should know that Mike grew out his hair over the last week for this. So that was not easy to do, I'm sure, Mike, but I congratulate you.
No, the sickness helped. Don't get me wrong. I just lay in bed and just let it grow for a while.
Right.
So.
It was like the sickness that like when Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man, right? It was that kind of illness.
Absolutely.
You
Similar symptoms as well, actually. I've been crawling the walls and climbing along the ceiling and, kissing people upside down, all that sort of stuff.
That's good stuff. How are you doing today, Mike? How's life with you, and who are you playing today?
I'm doing really, really well. For those of you asking, thank you very much for the outpouring of messages I got on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram and everything of people saying, I hope you're well. I hope you've not got COVID last week. Yes, no, absolutely did not have COVID. Officially not COVID, just regular flu. I have a very slight cough still, but I'm energy levels back to, mid 90s%, which is really, really nice. Hence the cosplay, and hence also the additional items of the cosplay. So I've got a new top, a new hood, a new fake sleeve tattoo. You can check out why I've got a new fake sleeve tattoo on the Trello board for this adventure as well, because Silvo actually has a large tribal tattoo down his arm.
We need to post that too, that Trello board, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'll do that in a minute.
Okay.
I'm playing Silvo, who is a half elven sorcerer and has been so far in his time in Saltmarsh trying to not lean into his powers for reasons yet to be explained. But those powers have tended to come out every now and then, like last week when he unfortunately nearly got his arm ripped off by a giant weasel. Some horrible black tentacles seem to just thrash around for 10 feet all around him, and everyone was just like, oh, that's unusual for a Tuesday. So he's weirded out that everyone else isn't weirded out and like chasing him with torches and pitchforks. And he's also had a very humorous Scooby-Doo moment with Brian the Bloodthirsty, where they've heard this wailing banshee noise at the top of these stairs, and he's jumped. That was it. I had forgotten what that sounded like.
I'm here for you.
I hadn't really. But he definitely didn't, because obviously both Brian and himself have got a reputation to protect. One, get frightened, and two, jump into the arms of Brian like Scooby and Shaggy. But I'm dead excited.
Yeah, certainly didn't happen at all. Not much.
Definitely not.
More than once. It is good to see Mike with us. Always a pleasure, Mike. And last but certainly not least, always a pleasure to have Inanda with us, the aforementioned player of the character whose arms someone just leaped into. It's good to see Inanda. How's everything working on your end of the world? How's life in the universe and everything? And who are you playing today?
I'm not too bad at all, thanks, Arv. Yeah, I'm also a little bit tired. I was helping out with an event over the weekend, so just recovering from that, and my voice is a little croaky, but I think that's obviously down to Brian screaming a little bit too loudly when that eerie sound happened. I'm playing Brian the Bloodthirsty. She's a water genasi. She's also an actual bona fide pirate. She's left her ship where she was raised by the captain, and she's come to Saltmarsh to explore and find out a little bit about her heritage, and joined up with this crew because she can't abide bullying. She was a little bit of a loose end. She was promised some good rewards, and plus it sounded fun. So even though she is the fighter of the party, she's the only one that's had some major damage so far, by walking past a well, not seeing it, and got slightly bitten by a snake. Fortunately, Morwith was able to provide emergency acupuncture, and she's currently okay, but fully Scooby-Dooed with Silvo at the moment, because that eerie sound terrified her. I think it's got something to do with the fact we're inside, there are walls, we're not at sea. We're going to be making those excuses for a while because she's quite tough.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, and this is just something that just, listen, this kind of thing happens, where you pretend that you're freaked out when you're clearly not freaked out at all. Like that's all really that happened here. And I'm sure that everything will be just fine. Just ducky. We will see how things proceed. And I actually realized, fortunately, I there was one map I wasn't sure that I had prepared, but I did have it prepared. So, haha, I outthought myself. So, anyway, it's a pleasure to have Ananda with us. And thank you all so much for being a part of this. Let us fire up a little bit of music chat and let us get into this. And I think what we're looking at here as we go into this place is I want to fire up the right kind here of music. So we got this going on. We've got this going on. Let's see. That's not what I want. Maybe like that. There we go. Perfect. All right. I'm going to add this to the game. Here we go. And let's see how we go. Ah, yes. Lovely. We are here in a house of a former alchemist in the land of Saltmarsh, or I should say to the north of Saltmarsh. The crew, which was brought together through circumstance several sessions ago, is now working with each other to try to solve a problem for the town. Specifically, Scarin Wave Chaser has given them a mission to discover what actually happened. It's not terrifying at all. Given them a mission to try to figure out what is going on with this house that has been abandoned, but from which there are reports that there might be people operating within this house and using it basically as shelter for their nefarious activities. The problem is that the house is popularly believed by the people of Saltmarsh to be haunted. And so people do not go there. They do not spend time with each other. They do not spend time at the house if they can. They try to avoid it. And the only information that you've gotten about the inside of it comes from a drunk poacher named Canis, who once allegedly entered the house and then, beset upon by just all kinds of deadly haunted creatures that were attacking him, he ran away. So when the party went to discover it, they found a home which was indeed abandoned. There was a broken down garden on the outside, and when Morthwill and Silvo decided to look inside more closely, they were attacked by giant weasels. Waves crashing against rocks, and Brine and Morthwill together managed to figure out a way to stop them from the weasels being, they stopped the weasels, although Silvo did get a little hurt, as was previously pointed out. The party proceeded around the outside of the house and found a well, whereupon Brine disturbed a couple of poisonous snakes which attacked Brine. And in fact, at one point, Brine, I think, was actually dropped for a brief moment until the party was able to rescue her and bring her back and scare the other snake back into the well. The party then went into the house and made their way over. They discovered that the house itself seemed mostly deserted, with one exception, and that is that there are tracks that are leading in from an area of the house in through the kitchen and then down to the top of the stairs. And as we head over to the map portion of our OBS here, you will see that they are now standing. Waves and Morthwill are standing at the top of the stairs. Morthwill and Waves are fine when they heard this terrible howling scream that once again sounded like roughly. That sound also echoed through the house, and Silvo Scooby-Dooed it into Brine's arms. So as we begin the session today, Brine and Silvo both are frightened, which means they have an hour disadvantage on all ability checks, although 15 minutes in, you'll be able to repeat your saving throw against the fear of these things, which are these screams are continuing to echo from the basement. And now that we've talked about all of that, Chet, can you hear the music, by the way? I am such a huge fan of this music. I hope the chat can hear it well. But it is time now to hand things back over to the players. You've just heard these echoing screams through the house. What would the party like to do?
So the screams are still ongoing, then?
Yes, they continue to go on every so often.
Okay, so Morthwill's going to look around for just a tiny little thing that may be lying around, like a tiny rock, sliver of metal from the copper, anything tiny that you can just grab hold of.
Okay,
right.
You can do that. I think there's enough sort of glass and rubble around that you can find something.
Yeah, so he just grabs a small rock and he just pulls out his lockpick and starts scratching away at the rock for an action.
Okay.
Because he's magically tinkering with it.
All right. You can do that.
Okay. And as a result of this, the rock is now capable of playing a non-verbal sound, and he holds it down the stairs.
Okay.
So basically, he's trying to record the scream.
Okay. You can do that.
Okay, excellent. Let me mark.
Waves was already suspicious of the sounds last time.
Correct.
Actually
Waves
figured-
determined there was something weird about them. Yes.
Yes, and Waves determined that doesn't sound like natural sounds to her.
That's right.
And she had also already seen Morthwell speaking cube when they were in town because he presented it to her. So she just listens to it for a while, then just looks at Morthwell, points at where his ear is, points down the stairs, and says in a really weird voice that you haven't heard her use before.
Bullshit!
And looks expectantly at him.
Okay. Would Morthoil maybe know that there's something off about the voice, given he has a little bit of knowledge of replicating sounds?
Not
a Kenku's level.
Yeah, not really. Although, I mean, I guess you could sit there and listen to it for a while. You're certainly not freaked out by it. But in this particular case, Waves' particular unusual ability, which is, as you say, it's not at a Kenku's level. It sounds legitimate. You do know that there are, many things can create the sounds of screams, and it's not just humanoids or people or creatures that can do so.
Okay.
So,
Morthwell looks busy with his rock, and I'll go and have a look what Silvo and Brian are doing. Because apparently they're not following.
Yes,
That's weird, so I better check on them.
Okay.
Yeah, so just before that happens, I'm going to just very quickly look over at Brian and sort of hop out of her arms, and there's this, like, awkward silence for a moment.
I'm going to just turn you up a bit because you're a little quiet. I'm just going to go, I don't know that that's probably the right direction to go in. I think that's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? That's a trap down there. And so I think we'll probably find more information out if we go south. If we go south, I think we'll probably find what we're looking for away from the screams.
I completely agree with you, and I think we definitely have a silent understanding that we both have very proud reputations to protect, so let's just forget that whole being frightened thing ever happened, because we don't need other people finding out that we were scared of noises.
Don't you worry. It was a natural reaction, and we can keep that between ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it at this point that Waves shows up? Waves, like at this point where you appear, like, but after Silvo's gotten out of her arms?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
But just though, right? Like just got out of her arms, that Waves
so
shows
this
up.
Weird kind of like Silvo's like sort of like straightening his clothes, straightening his jacket, sort of thing. It's like, yes, well, we have an understanding then.
So I come in, see both of them, and try to beckon them to come with me.
I look over at Brian. I don't think we're going to get out of this
I
one.
think that we need to find out where the footprints came from first. Maybe that would be slightly just so we can find out what we're dealing with.
Wave seems a bit confused about that, points back and says,
One way in.
Well, that we know of.
They must have come from somewhere. They didn't come from outside. Maybe there's more down. Maybe the real danger is this way.
You can definitely see that Waves is really, really confused and tries to beckon you forward once again.
Why are you going towards the screaming?
Oh, she realizes, looks at you, opens her beak, and says,
Silvo freaks out at this point. He's just like, wait, was that you? Was that her? Was that you?
Did you make that noise?
I point back to where the noise is coming from and say,
Bullshit!
So it certainly sounds real. I mean, he looks at his arm, he's like, well, the goosebumps on my arm tell me that they're pretty real. But I don't know. I mean, if you think otherwise, then you seem to have experience in this, because I've heard you mimic, well, myself pretty accurately. So,
How sure are you that that's bullshit?
I open my beak and say again,
I think
From beyond the door, you hear the scream again because I'm testing the rock.
we get it stereo every now and then. Get the remix.
Yeah, exactly.
Just turns into a Twitch air horn. Jesus. Well, I'm okay. I look at Waves. I'm like, I believe you have way more experience with sound copying and manipulation than any of us that I'm aware of, and I didn't know Kenkus could do that. I've honestly never met a Kenku, but that seems like a pretty decent trick. So I am with you if you say that it's bullshit.
From what I know of you, I do trust you. You know what you're talking about. I still think that it's worth checking this out. But if you're going that way, I will back you up.
okay. She nods and beckons you again to come with her.
I look at Silvo, shrug,
I look over.
brace
and I
myself,
say-
draw my
I say,
swords,
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm going to be behind both of you, so I don't mind.
puff myself up so that I'm kind of mimicking how how birds puff their feathers up to make them look
Yes, I do.
larger, which I've
Yeah.
seen do obviously when she feels slightly threatened. So I'm doing that just to. And then
I tap Brian on the arm, just like slap her on the shoulder. I'm like, you got this, champ. You are a fighter. You are a champion. You got this. Now let me get behind you.
and then carry on.
Okay. Okay. So, you head up then. Okay. So you head back over then. So against your better judgment, I guess, from what I understand, Brian and Silva, you will follow Waves in this
So
situation.
at this point, I am very close to being behind Waves, because in this scenario, I've seen Waves decimate two giant weasels.
It's
in
true.
very quick succession, stone cold, like no zero remorse, zero suggestion. Like, so I'm like, you are one of the people I want to be behind, not in front of.
So when you come up to the stairs, you can see that Morthwill is standing at the top of the stairs and seems to be fiddling with something, which every so often goes, "Ah!" like that, and gets cut off, and then he kind of plays around with it like, like try to get it working.
Sorry, does everyone have this ability?
Can we stop with the screaming?
I think we may have lost the element of surprise somehow.
So, Morthwill, you can hear that everyone else has now arrived, and you are still looking down the stairs.
What kept you?
We were just checking south. It seemed to be
Scouting
where
south,
the footprints
yeah.
were coming from, but we decided obviously that we didn't want to leave you two on your own.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we'll check that out later.
We're definitely probably not being followed. That's what we know.
Well, that's for the best. In the meantime, I've come up with this, and I hold out the rock and make it scream again.
At which point, I kind of like you could see the knuckles going white around my scimitar. It's like, can we not scream? I've got really quite large ears. It does hurt a little bit. Can we stop with the screaming?
Is
Sounds
this,
good to me.
mechanically speaking, just for a quick second, does us knowing or believing now that this sound might be fake or falsified have any effect on the frightening?
I was actually going to give you a chance to make this one of your saving throws. Yes,
Okay,
technically it's about the right time, so I was going to have you make it. So this is a wisdom saving throw that both Brian and Silvo need to try to make.
There is my character sheet.
First roll of the day. Let's make it a good one. Brian, you're
so
like,
unwise.
no, this thing is real, and you're, Silvo, you're like, well,
I'm
I guess
more
because you
convinced.
believe Waves, right? I guess.
Yeah. I mean, well, I've seen Waves mimic myself, and like no one else sounds like me. So like, and I've seen Waves mimic other people, and Waves doesn't seem to have a single voice, but rather a multitude of voices. So I'm like, there's clearly some sort of sound manipulation there. I mean, I can manipulate sound occasionally. I can throw a coin around a corner and stuff like that to get people's attention, but that is a true talent. So if says that this is rubbish, then it's probably rubbish.
Well, that may be the case, but Brian, so you are no longer frightened, Silvo. Brian, you're just like, listen, this thing is...
Sounds real to me. I've heard similar screams at sea, and that never ended well. So forgive me, but I'm keeping tight hold of my swords.
I mean,
and can you make that stone stop screaming?
Yeah, Mortal. Maybe put the stone away.
It fades away as Morthoil puts it in a pouch on his tool belt.
Of course, the sound is still coming from below, so there's that.
Morthoil puts down the stairs like, that ain't me.
Well, let's find a way to stop the screaming, shall we?
Waves nods enthusiastically, and as patient as she always is, she already puts out her rapier and wants to walk down the steps, just making sure that people are actually coming this time.
How
One way
bright
in.
are the? How bright is the steps? Is there light at the bottom? Does it descend into darkness?
The area down below does seem to have some light below. It's not much, though, but it seems to be a kind of flickering, as if maybe of torch or lantern light.
Well, there's light down below.
There's light up here too.
Aye, but we're going nowhere fast here.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay.
What have we
I'll
got
be right
for an
behind
order, which I assume will not have
Um,
Brian in front?
Okay.
as much as I'd like to have the fighter in front, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm just making sure no one follows us in. I've got your backs. Got your backs.
I lean over to Brian, and I'm also talking to like the rest of the group. I'm like, I think it'd be better. Maybe Brian like stays at the rear just in case we didn't scout out very properly. And I lean back to Brian and sort of give her a bit of a wink.
Mother looks around and says, "You know, it could be coming from down south instead."
I can go and check. I no, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you. You can count on me.
I mean, if it were a smart beastie, it might pick off the person at the back first to keep us unsuspecting.
Mortal, shut up.
Waves
just
starts walking down the stairs. This is all taking too long. Why are people talking so
follows
much?
chuckling to himself.
All right, let me bring...
I motion Brian, and there's this moment where I just kind of lean in and say, like, you're all right, you got this. I mean, they're probably going to go for the bird first anyway, so she's the stabber of the group, and it's fine. Don't worry about it. You got this, all right? You're a brave pirate, all right? You got this.
I'm a pirate. Okay, I'm following down. Following them downstairs.
Okay, I'm going to bring you over to a new map, chat and players. And I'm going to bring you to right... Oops, hold on a second.
The Well of Screams.
Yeah. This is the top of the stairs as you're basically going down into the whatever cellar area, basically, this is. So I could ask everyone to pull their tokens over, their new tokens. Oh, wait, actually, do I have to... Oh, I bet I have to copy it, don't I? That's okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Give me a second. Let me... You're all together, like, nice honey bunches of oats anyway. Should be fine. I mean, not that I mean that in any kind of vaguely threatening
for
way.
that line of damage.
Yeah, exactly. All
it's
in
so
one
rare to get
nice-
player characters in a line nowadays.
It's true. These days, you never see it. Okay. So give me just 1 second. All right. So here we go. We've got Waves here. We've got Morthwheel here. We've got Silvo here. And we've got Brine bravely bringing up the rear. Do all of you have
Very,
control
very
of your
big.
tokens, or do I need to give them?
I have control of mine.
Okay, cool. Good, lovely. All right. As you were going down these stairs, first of all, well, actually, the screaming continues, which is obviously not the most pleasant thing you've ever experienced. But as you head down the stairs, you can see that what flickering light there seems to be coming from several places over on the southern wall of the room. But there's not much light here, so I do need to double check. Who has got dark vision? Morthwheel would. But Brian, do the Genasi have?
I don't know. I don't think so, no.
Okay. And do the Kenku have dark vision? Okay. So
Nope.
you will need to come up with some light source then here, because the light that you see, although flickering, which is coming, by the way, from over here-ish. But other than that, the rest of this place is pretty dark. So you'll need to have like a torch or something like that for lighting, unless you want Morthwheel to lead you all around by the hand.
I've got a torch I can use.
Okay.
I have dark vision, so I'm good at the minute.
Okay.
Until there's like actual light, and then it will be screwed.
I was just going to say, yeah, the problem here is that you're going to have to use light because half of you, unfortunately, it'll foul the dark vision, but otherwise the other ones can't see. So
That's cool. I have torches as well, I believe. I have at least
okay.
a torch.
Do you want to pass one forward to Waves? Unless does have a torch?
Do you have a
Waves
torch?
Waves doesn't use torches. That's really dangerous if you're a feathered being.
Oh, that's true. Well, so who's holding the torch so that you can see?
So
I have something
I
in my
will-
backpack if I
Okay.
have a moment.
Sure.
I just need to find my character sheet real quick, which I'm sure I have somewhere. I'm just really confused why I cannot find my own character sheet anymore. But I do have a small hooded lantern with me.
Nice.
So I would put my shield away and carry that instead.
Okay. All right. So you're able to hold this up, then to light the way, basically, Waves.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hold the lantern.
So as you hold the lantern up, you can now see the rest of what is obviously a wine cellar. As you look around, there are a couple things to note here. First of all, there are shoulder length, yes, because shoulders have length, shoulder height wooden bottle racks, which are lining the north wall here, and then the western wall right here. Give me a second. Let me bring everybody up to
Ooh, booze.
right there. There used to be, but not anymore. There are no intact bottles left from what you can tell in the racks. There are shattered bottles covering the floor. Lots of broken glass. And against the east wall at the foot of the stairs, these things look like two large metal storage bins. And you can see from here that they both seem to be empty. There's nothing to the top of them. But beyond that, and then down over to this side, you can see that the tracks that you have been following, I will freehand this, lead from the bottom of the stairs here, and then they abruptly stop right there, and right down where that bottom of the arrow is here, the tip of the arrow, I should say, right there. That is where there's just a little bit of flickering light that's coming. But the other thing that you notice is that in the center of the room, right here, there is what looks like, let me just pull this up here. All right, come on. Library purchases, yes.
You're having to buy more content.
No,
All right.
no, I don't think I need any more of those.
Not today, anyway.
Yeah, not today, Satan. Okay, here we go. Yes, there we go. Perfect. There is a human corpse, which is clad in plate mail, and the corpse is lying there on the ground. There is a long sword that lies by the corpse's right side, and a large shield that is covering its legs.
Oh,
I
okay, everyone,
tried
hold
to-
up. If the thing at the top of the stairs is some sort of trap or trick, there's probably traps in this room as well.
I try to listen where the screaming is actually coming from, just in case it's coming from the corpse, and I was wrong all the time.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
10.
I mean, you think it sounds pretty, I mean, it echoes everywhere here down through the cellar. All of you are still standing in the exact positions I have you, right? Like Brian's at the top of the stairs, etc. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's currently it just is echoing around the room. It's hard to tell where it's coming from. It's somewhere in the cellar, but it's echoing around this cellar.
Could it be coming from everywhere? Or does it feel like it's bouncing from the walls?
Probably bouncing, but the sort of origin point is going to be difficult.
Okay. Is there a way I can see if there are any tripwires at the bottom of the stairs, given the current light situation?
Possibly, but not from here. You'd have to go up, exchange places. You could have waves like just move just into the room enough for you to get down there.
I'll whisper shout over to waves.
Okay.
Like, look out for traps.
Okay.
Make kind of like a wire motion, like a.
Okay, Waves looks down, looks at Silver and points down to find out whether that's where she's supposed to look. And then she tries to look for traps.
Okay. I would like you to make an investigation check for me, please.
8.
Where the stairs are
Perfectly
positioned.
safe, Waves.
Yeah, 100%.
Super safe.
Got it.
I point at Silver and do like thumbs up.
Okay, safe.
While they're doing that, Morthoil's pulling a few bits out of various pouches and screwing some crystals into a box, attaching a rod onto the end, and basically has just made a magic detector and cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Which means any magical presence within 30 feet of me, I can sense and will have a faint aura, be it creature or object.
Within 30 feet, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 foot of wood or dirt.
Yeah, the only magic that you detect emanates from directly behind you, Morthwheel, where there's a lot of magic seem to be coming right behind you, like right on top of you.
Well, interestingly, I can learn the school of magic of this source by a variety of lighting up crystals. So what school of magic is this mysterious source?
Are you pointing a device at me?
Yes, I've just followed, like, it's beeping, and I just sort of turn around, and now crystals have lit up, and I'm just like...
let's just sort this out later, shall we? Get back to the task in hand. Is there a magic trap at the bottom of the stairs?
Can you tell him what kind of magic there is before we get into
You can whisper it if you don't want to reveal it to the party as well, if you just send me a private message.
Yes, I will send you a private message.
Okay, sounds good. So,
Waves is unsure about what's going on with all the peeping, and stares at the corpse at the center.
Okay.
She really, really, really stares at the corpse, as this corpse has not been stared at before.
Okay.
And uses her divine sense to see whether this is an undead.
It is definitively not undead. It looks like this thing is just dead.
Okay, because this is divine sense, so I can find out the location of a celestial fiend, undead, or hello spell if it's not behind total cover. So I can see the corpse, so it should not be.
Yep.
Behind. Okay.
Yep. No, you're good.
I look back to the beeping party, and if nobody does something, I will be my own. Waves will be her own patient self and will step into the room. So you have one last chance to do something before Wave steps down.
Oh, sorry.
Where the stairs are coming down, can I see over I'm at the back, but can I see over a banister into the room, or is this like a corridor staircase?
It's a corridor staircase. Yeah, it's a corridor staircase. Like, basically, Waves is just sort of like looking around the edge to see what she sees. So the rest of you just sort of see what's directly in front of you. So, Brian, from your position, you can probably see like the metal, bins at the bottom of the stairs because they're directly in front of you. But the other stuff you can't see until you got lower.
Morthil says, don't seem to be much magic in here, with a side eye at Silver.
Yes,
who's
absolutely.
practically glowing to him at the moment.
Yes, well, shall we continue?
Waves points at the corpse and makes this movement to make. She hopes the others will understand that this person is really dead. She's not sure, but
He's
this is what she's
already
trying to do.
dead.
She nods. She nods. Yes.
Don't kill it. It's already dead.
Yes.
Okay. I look over at Brian. What happened? Is she going to kill that corpse? Is she going to stab that corpse? I think she's going to stab that corpse.
I can't see her. I can't see her from where I am.
Oh, right. Let's get you down the stairs. Come on, let's get you down the stairs.
Who's dead? Where? Someone's dead?
There's a corpse in the middle of the room. I think is going to go stab it.
Okay. Is it screaming?
Well, it might be in a minute. I don't know. If it gets up. I am going to go and investigate this metal box.
Okay. You're investigating the metal box. What are you? Waves? You're going over to the corpse. Okay.
The corpse, does it look reasonably fresh? Because I didn't really understand the description. I'm sorry.
It does not look reasonably fresh. It looks like flesh, but not fresh.
It does not look reasonable fresh.
It is. It does not look that way. It's hard to tell unless you get close to it, like what exactly it's, because it's like face down, right, and it's covered with this plate armor. So all that you know is that it's definitely not moving and is clearly, obviously, as you know now, not undead. But there is just a sword by its side and a shield covering its legs.
Can I see the shield? Does it have some kind of emblem on it that would tell me something about who
does
this is?
Yeah, Morthoil was kind of interested in the shield himself as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, it does not have any emblem. It is a gold shield. Gold colored, but that's the only thing you note about that.
Gold, you say?
Yeah, solid gold, no gold colored.
Solid gold shield. That would make an awful shield.
Yeah, this would be a terrible shield.
terrible shield.
So
this is
with
a
his
person like in full plate with a huge sword, a huge shield, and is very dead.
Very dead.
Morthoil's drawn his crowbar from his pack while this is being examined, and he wants to lean over and try and flick the shield off the corpse with the tip of it.
So you flick the shield off, Morthwill, and that's good news that you're able to do that. The not as good news is that when you flick the shield off, erupting from the body are a set of terrible looking, what looks like massive swarm of maggots is sort of the way that you would describe it. These creatures swarm out of the body, and they swarm directly at you. I would like initiative from everybody, please.
Oh my god.
What a creepy, crawly manner.
Yeah, it is a creepy, crawly
I'm really
manner.
itchy now.
Oh my lord. Right.
Okay.
Come on, where is my initiative? Oh, my initiative. There it is.
Okay, let's see.
This might sound like a proper noob question, right? And I don't really care. But you know when other people roll initiative and it adds your number to the turn order? I only see other people's turn order. I only see other people's initiative roll. Is mine on the turn order, or do
It's
I
not.
need to do something?
You have to
before
touch
rolling
your
initiative?
token first and then roll initiative.
Right. Okay. So touch my token and
sorry.
then roll.
But
Next
that's okay.
time I'll do that.
I will add you for now because and I'm just going to put it in manually. But that's
Yep,
what you
that's
normally
fine.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Several years we've been playing this game, and I didn't know. how to do
Yeah,
it.
it's true. I hadn't thought about the fact that I would need to. That would be helpful for you to know. Okay. Waves. You're dealing with a 10. You're very 10 today, Pyron. A lot of tens.
A lot of tens. Tens across the board.
I'm a tender
Morthwheel.
person.
You're a
As
10 person.
as a
Morthwheel
10,
and
she rolls
Brian.
a lot of tens.
What are your dexterity
Tender.
scores? Just your raw scores, not the modifier.
Raw score 13.
13.
14.
Okay, so that means that Waves is going to go before Morthwheel. All right. And Brian, quite understandably, is not appearing in this picture. Does not want to deal with this garbage. Right now, there's screams. Also, I should have mentioned this before. I'm sorry, I didn't notice where everyone had moved yet. But when you get onto the middle of the stairs, the screaming stops. So there's no screaming.
There's been no screaming since Brian got to past the middle of the stairs.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's interesting.
It's a trap. It's definitely a trap.
Okay. So
It's definitely a trap. It's 100% going to be a trap.
Let's see.
Oh, it's my mouse not working.
I got to the middle of the stairs, I think, before we rolled initiative. Would I have known that? Okay,
Yeah, you
I'm
would
not
have
gonna-
noticed that the screaming would have stopped. Yes, and I'm sorry about that. Yes, you would have noticed that part.
Do you think 15 minutes have passed, so maybe Brian can
No.
roll? Damn it.
That would be very slow descent.
We had a very long argument. I mean, Morthwell's device kept glowing various colors.
Yeah, but you know.
Basically, it
Also-
was Christmas for a while.
And the fear is not driven just by the screams. Otherwise, I would take it off. But it's not an effect like that. It's literally you're frightened because you're like, oh God, not that you're being charmed into feeling this way or something like that.
Now is it? Now it's. Have I gone deaf? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. It's even worse. It's insidious. Now it's secret.
Yeah.
Stealthy screaming. Okay, Silvo, you are up first. So you see these creatures, these terrible. Let me just, so that people can get a better sense. No, not that guy. That guy is that's the body from which they emerge. They look like that. Just a horde of. Yeah, just
Oh man! So we're basically talking about giant maggots.
giant maggots emerging. Yes.
Lovely, lovely. How I just if I had to if I had to guess how many have just poured out of this body, are we talking tens or hundreds?
No, hundreds.
Oh my God.
Now I will say when I say giant maggots, I don't want to, it's not like each maggot is the size of you, but as
like
a
tremors,
swarm,
do you know what I mean?
they are probably each swarm is like half the size of Morthwheel. And Silvo, from having dealt with swarms before, that swarms tend to have they tend to be resistant against things that do piercing and slashing because it's there's all these constituent parts of it, right? There's all these little maggots, but they tend to be more affected by things that are area effect type of things. So things that get rid of a bunch at once tend to have a greater effect against swarms. And you can attack each swarm as its own creature, if you will. So yes. So it's definitely not tens, it's hundreds. It's not thousands, though, but it's...
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever fought a swarm of something before in D&D. So if I attack one of those two creatures, it will attack the whole swarm.
Correct,
I'll
it
have to
attacks
say,
the
like,
whole swarm, right.
Creature 1 of 246
That's
of
right.
item A. That's okay, cool. That makes more sense then.
And a giant maggot is still, like, maybe that big. So, there's just many, many of them. So the point is the overall swarm is like half the size of Morthwheel, but the individual creatures are like, I don't know, that each big, which is a big maggot. I would not want to face the maggot like this is really disturbing. But
And how big are these squares?
5 feet.
5 feet. Excellent stuff. I'm going to move. So I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Can I move there?
Yes, you can get there.
Before I get there, is this door closed?
It's not a door. It just seems to be a blank wall with this
Oh,
like
okay,
little
cool.
H shape.
I just assume. Okay, so it's more like a fireplace
Correct.
rather than a door. Okay, cool. I assumed it was a door because of the shape. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, it's fine.
Okay, excellent stuff. In that case, I am going to. I'm not going to bring my crossbow out. You kind of see Silver sprint off behind Waves, and there's this moment where he kind of whips his hood back and sort of holds both hands out for a second. And there's an uncomfortable pause as more and more of these things are pouring out of this corpse. And he attempts to cast Firebolt.
Okay. All right. You can do that. Firebolt, you said, right?
Firebolt, yeah,
Okay.
not Fireball.
Well, because Fireball's AoE is why I asked. It would be
Yeah,
a
no,
lot of
Fireball.
AoE, but it would be also...
I would be very OP. For
Yeah, be
level
very OP for a level 1, yeah. All right, so Firebolt.
one. Firebolt.
Yes, you can do so. Go ahead and make
So
your...
make a ranged spell attack against the target, which I assume I just roll that. That is a 20.
Yep, that will absolutely hit.
Excellent stuff. And that does 3 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Yes, I don't add anything to that, do I?
I don't believe so.
No, firebolt's flat D10.
Excellent
So
stuff,
yeah,
yes.
you take...
Sorry.
There's a little bit of flame. You see some burning and crisping maggot grub creatures, but that's it.
As flavor text, as Silvo kind of holds his hands out, there's this moment where he sort of goes, okay. And a flame does shoot out of his hands, but it's black and doesn't look like normal fire. It's just pitch black. So it looks a little bit like smoke, but does exactly the same thing as flames.
Outstanding. Okay, good stuff, Silvo. That is going to lead us to the bad guys, or in this case, these creatures. Okay, they are going to swarm up on two creatures. First, they're going to swarm up. One of them is going to swarm up on Morthwill, who dared to crowbar off the shield from the, and let's see. They're going to... All right, that is going to be a 12.
Nope.
These creatures, Morthwill, start trying to literally almost watching like a river flow onto your leg. And so you kind of kick them off and all that other stuff. Waves, the same thing happens where they try to flow onto you. That is a 9.
Nope.
Okay, so you managed to avoid being hit by it, but these things are definitely trying to like swarm on top of both of you.
I do like this dance with my bird where I try to avoid the maggots trying to come up, while also shying away from what apparently is some kind of fire that might singe me, that is exploding in front of me.
Yep.
So there's a lot of bird movement.
And this is good timing because you were up next, actually, Waves.
Yeah, well, Waves shouts.
Ew. Ugh, yuck.
And then attacks them with the rapier. Let's do some maggot kebab here.
Okay. Maggot kebab. Hey, what's up, Fractal?
Okay. Sorry, I have so many windows open because of all.
Same. I know the feeling.
So 1d20 to hit. It was right. No.
Well, yeah,
That's
D20
my attack thing.
plus. Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's
I was
my
like,
attack,
yeah,
which
but
is 7.
yeah.
God, 7.
21.
21 will definitely hit.
And then we do damage. There we go. 14.
Okay, so now the good news is, so this does damage. It does not do as much as you would have expected that it would, though. Part of it is that as you're stabbing down, these creatures are kind of like, sliding out of the way and stuff. Like, you're stabbing, but there's a ton of these creatures around them. Yeah, so but you definitely, when you pick out your sword, there's a few wriggling worm-like creatures on top of, on your rapier, kind of making their way down the blade. And
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Wave seems a bit frustrated by this and says,
Bum face.
And I assume you're staying where you are, Waves?
I'm staying where I am. There are still maggots to poke.
That's true. There are definitely a lot of maggots left to poke. That leads us to Brian, who's up next. Morthwill is on deck. Actually, wait a minute. I think I got that wrong. Brian, yeah, when I asked, did I ask for for Brian and Morthwill's dexterity, or did I actually say Waves by accident? I think I said Waves. I meant Brian.
No,
You said Brian?
You asked,
Oh, I did say Brian? Okay, good. All right,
I
good.
think so, yeah.
All right, so then that means that Brian is up next. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so Brian, you see there are these, you saw everything. Silva with the black flame. You see Waves stabbing down at this swarm of maggots.
How much? Because I saw how many was there before. Has this swarm, these two swarms, decreased in size at all?
The one that's nearest to Waves has decreased a fair bit because of the flames they were hit by, and then also by Waves' attack. So both of them have been reduced. It's still pretty decent size though, but that's the one that's been affected. The other one still looks just as big as before.
Okay. In this room, we've got the wine racks on the north and the west side, and we've got these 2 metal containers. Is there any wine bottles still there? Is there any water butts or anything?
All of these ones look to be smashed, and with a lot of the bottles lying on the floor. You don't really see much liquid anymore either. It looks like whatever smashed them did so a long time ago, if you had to guess.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to leave on her own. So I am going to go down, puffing myself up with my fake feathers, with my 2 scimitars, and have a go.
Okay.
Because I did see that she did some damage with her with her rapier, so I'm thinking, okay, this might work. So yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and make that.
11.
Okay. 11 will hit. You'll be happy to know that these creatures are not particularly.
I didn't roll with disadvantage.
Yeah, because ability check. Yes. Sorry. Thank you for the reminder.
No, it's still 11.
Good news is that 11 is still going to hit because these things are not particularly, AC is not their thing so much. So you are going to hit them. So go ahead and roll your damage. And you're hitting the one you said that you already that was already damaged, right?
Yeah.
Did you take this spot here on the right next to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And does this roll my damage? No, that just rolls another hit.
If you click on the word scimitar under the roll, it should roll your damage then.
Click on the word scimitar under the roll.
Yeah, on the chat
in
window.
in the chat window, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
3.
Okay. This does damage, but very little. Not nearly as much as you would have expected, Brian. You make this typical, like, classic slash across, but you really only hit a couple of the wriggling creatures, and a lot of them sort of fall off. It's almost like your scimitar goes between some of the, creatures as much as anything else.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't think that rolled damage properly. I've just hovered over the 3, and it says rolling 0 plus strength. So I don't think it actually rolled it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's weird.
Unless you rolled a 0 on your damage dice, which is unlikely. So I don't know if that's actually what's the damage for a scimitar.
Should be, I think, either 1d6 or 1d8.
So we know it's that plus 3.
Yeah, I don't think my scimitar is actually like macroing properly because it just says 3.
should be 1d6 plus strength or dex because it's a finesse weapon.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't. It's because it just says 3 even in my character sheet. So it's 1d6.
Plus the strength would be the case. Assuming I need to double check and make sure if it is 1d6, or 1d8. It might be 1d6.
1d6 sounds right.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'll find it.
You're most of the way there.
Okay, I can actually put it in this way. Let me do that.
Yeah, it is 1d6 slashing.
Cool.
And so that would be 1d6 plus your strength for the damage.
Okay.
Actually, that's a good point. Assuming you're using your strength, because it's a finesse weapon, so it could be used as dexterity, but I think you're probably using it as strength, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I have proficiency as well.
Okay, but that'll only affect the hit. Since you already hit, we're just worried about damage.
So it's plus 3.
Okay, so 6 damage then? Is that what you're looking at? Oh, I see. You just rolled it now. Okay, so 4 total.
Okay, so one more damage than it was.
4. So basically, again, not nearly as much as you would have expected.
Sorry, I misclicked.
Not as much as you would have expected. It does work. It does damage it, but not particularly much.
I am dual wielding. Do I get a second attack?
Yes. If you were dual wielding and you're proficient in that, yes, then you would get a second attack.
Okay.
Scimitar and the
so
other one, right? Both scimitars.
both scimitars, yeah.
Okay.
So that for disadvantage 16.
That will still hit. So you can roll damage again.
So that's still 6 that time.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so again, damages it, and you can see there are a number of dead little, maggots now down there, but a lot are still alive. It's definitely got hit, but again, not as much as you would have hoped. But you moved up to it, and that is pretty much your movement, because if you move away, you're going to attract an attack of opportunity, so I'm assuming you're going to stay where you are, Brian? Is that
Yes.
fair to say? Okay. All right, Morthwill, it's your chance. These creatures are trying to crawl up on top of you.
So I'm going to disengage over to here.
Okay.
And I think then, as a regular move, I'm going to climb the actually, what's the view over the edge of the stairs? Is there a railing? Is it a solid wall?
This is it's a corridor stair. It's a wall leading down here, so you're able to just lean around the edge to see it.
Right, yeah. So I'd see bugger all if I went up the stairs. In that case, I'll just hold my position here, and that'll be my turn because I've used my action.
Okay. All right. What did you do just now on the action?
Disengaged.
Disengage, right, to get over there. Well, no, if disengage, that's just your move. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you still have an action.
All right, then fireball on the one that everybody's just wailing away on.
Hammering away at, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get that.
Silver pays particular attention to this.
Okay. And out of my tiny little lockpick, a fireball attempts to hit the maggots. With
Believe
an
it or not,
8.
it's going to. These things are not. AC is not their strength.
And it hits for 9 damage.
That one, so this just goes up and crisps. Like, just, completely goes up. You can see maybe there's 1 or 2 left, but pretty much that does the rest of the work for that one. So there is only 1 of those remaining now. The other ones are just a bunch of dead grubs sort of just lying there burning. Smells like chicken. Okay, that's Morthwill. That brings us up to the top of the round with Silvo. One of these is left.
Yep.
Currently
So
fresh.
I look over to Morthwill, and there's a moment of I kind of look over with surprise and like admiration in my eyes.
Okay.
And as I'm hunched over from like trying to cast that spell a second ago, I kind of straighten up a little bit, like okay, and immediately grab at the side of my head because a splitting pain has just gone through my head. I also slump against this wine rack. I'm assuming this is a wine rack to my left.
That is correct. There's some loose pieces of glass fall on top of you.
I kind of just as I kind of slump to the side, and I would really like that remaining swarm to make an intelligence saving throw for me.
Silvo.
Okay. What's the DC?
13.
Okay. Yeah, no, it clearly does not make that. Not shockingly, swarms of maggots are not particularly intelligent.
So it will take 1d6 of psychic damage as I cast Mind Sliver as a cantrip.
Okay.
And also, there is an extra soak of this. So it'll take 5 damage of psychic damage. And also, it will take 4. Gee, why couldn't that have been damage? 4, -4 from its next saving throw.
From its next saving throw. Okay, cool.
If it needs to make a saving throw before its next turn, it will be -4 disadvantage.
Okay, yeah. Remind me when that comes to be.
Keep an ear out.
Okay, so you do that. Good stuff out of Silvo. Silvo slumped against the wall there. This swarm comes swarming, if you'll pardon me, over here at and attacks waves. Okay. Let's see. 17 waves?
I have exactly 17 because I don't have my shield.
Ah, that's going to unfortunately do this then. So these creatures, what happens is these creatures run, sort of like crawl up onto your foot. And one of them, 3 of them you manage to kind of like, kick away. But one of them actually digs into your leg. So you can feel this thing is starting to dig into your leg. And the effect that this is going to have mechanically is at the start of each of your turns, Okay, so Wave's turn. You will
Just
take.
in a moment.
Yeah, sorry.
Then I'll be on.
Okay.
Which will be just in a moment.
Yes, will be just in a moment. You will take 1d6 piercing damage, and this thing is burrowed into your leg.
This sucks.
Yep.
That looks horrible.
Okay, and speak of the devil, it's Wave's turn, and we're going to see how much damage it does right off. So this thing you can feel burrowing into your leg. Just want to make sure I get everyone with a perfect visual image. To pretty much see anything from the mummy, and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
This is going to do 2 points of damage to you, Waves, as you feel this thing burrowing in.
All of you see Waves shrieking silently, like she definitely shrieks, but she's not making a sound.
Okay. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna. Can I try to attack the one that's on my leg?
Yes. How do you? So it's inside this wound. It basically like bit and then like dug into your leg. So how do you want to? You can see the wound. It's kind of a circular wound where the creature moved in. How do you want to sort of deal with it? What do you want to do to it?
Can I skewer it with my rapier and then like rip it out?
Nope. If you try to do that, you're going to skewer your leg. This thing is not going to be subject. Plus, it's resistant to that kind of damage anyway.
Okay, can I grab it and rip it out?
It is below your skin. There is, I will tell you that there are ways to deal with it. It's not like impossible, you're screwed. But you can't do those things physically to it.
There are ways to deal with it, but I can't do them physically.
Well, but no, but what I mean
Wait.
is that like pulling it out is not an option, is what I'm saying. Like whether it be with rapier or fingers or, anything like that.
Is Brian still holding the torch?
Is Brian still holding the torch? No, actually,
Yes.
Brian could. Well,
No, I didn't know.
Well,
I
you
didn't
would,
pick up the torch
Oh yeah, you
because
didn't
you had the.
because I had
Right.
my.
Yeah. So I've just got my 2 scimitars.
I'm just seriously at a loss here, so I can't grip it with my fingers and I can't skewer it with a something because it's too deep in my tiny bird leg.
right.
Okay, then there's nothing. I'm drawing a blank here, so I'll just attack the rest of them then.
Okay. I mean, well, yeah, I can't tell you, but like, yeah. I mean, it's, you know what? I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to have you make a nature check here, please, for me. Because I feel like there's ways that you would have at least heard of things like this rather than just being completely,
Okay. I just tried to click on my PDF. That was really smart of me.
Okay. Hello, Bouncing Cow.
14.
Okay. You do know for a fact, this is something which has happened with swarms before. I mentioned that area effect spells tend to be very effective against swarms. So does fire. So when you were talking about the torch, it would not surprise you if fire would have a profoundly positive effect for you and negative effect against the grub.
Yeah, but I'm still standing like inside all the grubs, right?
Well, I guess you're to the one side of it. I'm talking about the one that's in your leg.
I don't have. Yeah, I can't really put my lantern into my leg. So
You could smash it and just like
yeah, that's. I'm just gonna set myself on fire. That seems a reasonable way of dealing with this.
I mean, the bonus would be you wouldn't have a grub in your leg anymore.
Right.
The penalty for it, you would definitely be on fire.
I mean, you
And
could
we'd all
probably
be in the
burn it.
dark.
You
I
could
think
probably burn a
I'll-
smaller area without setting yourself on fire. You don't have to douse yourself
Yeah.
in oil. But
Not
This
really
is a
good with
familiar
my-
feeling scenario.
No, from her perspective, there's nothing she can do. She's gonna
Okay.
waves attacks the rest of the
Okay.
maggots in front of her.
proceed.
Okay. 8. I think I'm in shock.
Okay.
It's a natural 1, by the way.
8 actually hits. As I said, these things are not amount AC.
Okay, then here comes the rapier.
You physically
13.
can't miss.
Okay. 13. Yes, 13. Well, no, that was the attack. That's damage?
No,
Oh, that's damage.
That's
Okay,
damage.
that's right. Sorry, I
It says
forgot.
rapier.
Now, this is less damage than normal, remember, so this seems to be... so it is affected, but not as much as you might have hoped. But it is... You can see a lot of dead grubs now, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Waves is not the lantern smashing kind of person, so that's what she does.
Okay. All right, that's going to lead us to Brine, who is up next. And you've just seen this happen to
Okay. I've seen the maggot go into her leg.
I would say you would have seen her screaming and attacking and look down and see her like back and forth to the leg. You can probably put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, the creatures are trying to swarm up her legs, and yours for that matter.
Okay. And this swarm of maggots has decreased in size
Considerably.
substantially.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for let's get rid of the immediate threat. I'm gonna go for another 2 strikes, and I have fixed the macro for that at least. With my dual wielding scimitars, I'm
Okay.
like full windmilling these maggots.
Okay.
So I'm still with disadvantage, so I'm gonna roll that twice.
That will hit.
Okay. And then the 12.
It looks like that damage was part of it this time. It looks like it
I
was.
don't. I've clicked and dragged it on there
Oh, okay.
so that it would be better macros.
It can sometimes roll it automatically. If you click and drag an attack into the chat window, then it will roll down.
Yeah,
automatically.
it seemed to
I
work
think-
this time, 'cause
yeah,
that's-
I think it's a bug. You can set it in options. Obviously, we can do this out of game, but we can go through your character sheet and make sure everything's macro properly.
So you
Okay,
do
well,
8 slashing on that first attack. Is that, if I got that correct?
Yes,
Right,
because
okay.
I was with disadvantage, so the 12 got 8 slashing.
Okay. So that hits, and it does. Again, you slash through a lot of them. Not as much as you would have expected. It would have ended most creatures that you hit with that scimitar slash. But there's a lot of dead maggots down there now.
Okay, and I've got a second attack with my other scimitar that again I've got disadvantage on.
Okay.
So 10 to hit.
Okay. That will. Oh, you. Yeah. Oh, I was looking at the 25. 10 will still hit.
And then that's got 4 damage.
So these things, like, it's actually still kind of slightly moving around, but this swarm looks vastly reduced in size. Not a lot of living grubs / maggots left.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Brian.
Can I, instead of movement, would I be able to like pass Waves my torch, my unlit torch?
I don't think you can do that. It would take, well,
Or would that be a full action?
yeah. I'm trying to think. If you're lighting the torch, you can't do that. With having attacked. If you're just handing her the torch, I guess you could probably do that. Yes.
I have both hands full because I've got the rapier in one and the hooded lantern in the other.
Could balance it on top of her head. No, I'm just kidding.
And then like I'm not sure, like within the fight, and then suddenly like torch coming from the left, like all right, like
Yeah.
All right, then I don't do that.
Okay. Okay, that's going to lead us to Morthwill. Morthwill, there's a bunch of crap happening. And you can see Waves clearly in obvious panic mode, and you can see a lot of dead grubs. Not all dead, but a lot of them.
The air around Morthwill heats up again as another mini fireball appears on the tip of his lockpick, and he flings another fireball to what's left of the swarm for an 18.
Absolutely hits.
And 8 damage.
Absolutely crisped. Also, the body is burned a little bit too, but more importantly, I'm sure to everybody, is the fact that the nothing now stirs. There's one more. I would imagine that like one of you, Morthwill, you can go over and like stomp down with your boot on the last remaining one.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
And with a little
down
shudder.
there. Yeah. And so now nothing is moving, but I will say that your Waves, your wound does not feel any better. In fact, you are going to take another 3 points of damage as this thing is still burrowing inside your leg.
Are we out of initiative?
You're out of initiative now, yes.
Oh, I was
So
on mute.
Waves drops her lantern and the rapier and drops down on the floor and is like touching around the wound, trying to figure out what to do. Very obviously.
I'm gonna go over to Waves. I've kind of stirred myself up now. I'm gonna go over to Waves and be like, "What's going on?" I'm looking at the leg. What do I see when I look at Waves?
You see a wound, a kind of small roundish wound in her leg, and you can see that this thing below, you can see just a little bit of a burrowing something. There's movement inside the leg as if something is moving inside it. Also, I hate to make things even more creepy, but Waves, it feels to you like whatever this is burrowing up your leg now.
I put my hands around my leg to stop it from burying up, and just look around helplessly at everybody else.
So I'm gonna try something that I've seen some dock workers do before when they've hurt their hands on certain sharp implements. I'm going to take my dagger. I'm going to hold my hand over my dagger, and I'm going to very carefully try and cast Firebolt on my dagger to heat up the metal.
Okay.
And then I'm going to place the dagger onto where I can see the burrowing and try and force burn it through Waves' skin, basically, or deter it.
So when Waves,
but before I do this,
oh sure.
Before I do this, I'm going to look at Waves and go, I can probably get this out, but this is going to hurt. And I look at everyone, I was like, unless anyone else knows how to get this out. I know a rough and ready way.
Can I roll to see if I have a more effective way of getting it out? We've
Sure.
been aboard a ship on seas for months at a time. I must have some kind of basic first aid, maybe?
The basic first aid that you're thinking of would be exactly the same as what Silvo's thinking of doing. It's taken from those dock workers, and that's what you know, which is basically to cauterize/sterilize the wound, and you do that with fire. Fire and heat.
I'm going to help brace and maybe find a clean bit of wood or something just to put between her beak to bite down on.
While they're doing that, Morthoil's screwed another crystal onto his needle, but this time it fails to light up, and he's looking and going, "Oh, bugger. Not going to be able to fix you up after this one." He's out of spell slots.
Mm-hmm. I had a feeling.
It's a good way to put it.
So Wave still grabs onto her leg, nods towards Silvo, and closes her eyes.
All right.
Okay.
Can I just make sure you have you put your rapier down? Because I definitely don't want you to stab me.
Yeah, I dropped the lantern and the rapier.
Okay, cool.
I'm holding onto my leg to just to stop it from crawling upwards.
Cool. So very quickly, brief explanation: heat metal, hold metal against leg, and kind of try and get it out of Waves' leg.
I'm going to ask you to roll 1d4, please.
Okay.
Oh. I can cast guidance.
No, this is not. This is going to automatically. Well, we'll see about the succeeding, but it'll automatically be addressed. But okay, so Waves, you're going to take an additional point of damage from the heat, as it's just. Psst. But Silvo, as you kind of reach in and press down, I'm actually going to ask you to make. I'm going to ask you to make a medicine check for me, please, Silvo.
This will go well. I've watched dog workers do this. 12.
Yeah. So you touch down on this wound and then you feel sort of like, first of all, this searing pain Waves, but then the creature kind of, you feel this thing and then sort of oozing almost out, this blackened husk falls out of your leg basically onto the ground. And you no longer feel anything moving within your body, Waves.
I mean, I said it would suck. I'm sorry.
Waves makes a really, really weird sound.
Yes.
It's okay. It's over now. It's over now. It's out. It's gone. It's fine.
Okay, she opens her eyes, spits out the piece of wood, which doesn't really do anything for birds. And
You're like the first kangaroo that Brian's met.
Yeah,
He has no idea.
it's just such a great visual though, like just snap.
Looks around and like touches everybody's hands in kind of a gesture of thank you, and gets up.
I touch Waves' hand when she touches mine.
Okay. Yeah, your leg is definitely in pain, Waves, but you no longer feel anything. Kind of, you don't. The ongoing damage effect doesn't seem to be there.
Can I apply like a small bandage at least, so I don't have to look at the hole?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just like take out my medicine pack and just bandage it up so it's clean and closed.
Okay.
Mother was like, afraid I can't help patch you up with my needle this time. I'm not as good as I used to be at this sort of thing.
Waves nods understandingly.
As I'm walking away, that you kind of hear me muttering, say, "Well, to be fair, I was lucky I could heat the metal." But I'm also going to go and search this person who had the insects in him. So,
Okay.
like, well, friend, have you got anything?
If
that
they
might
do
help
that,
us?
I back away. If they go towards, I'll back away.
So
Morthwell's still interested in that shield, which started this whole thing.
that's right. So the shield which you've knocked away, it is a regular, just a medium, a large shield. It is in fairly good condition, and so looks to be functional. Morthwheel. Don't know if there's any magic or anything, but you didn't sense it before. But there's definitely, it's in good condition. The longsword is also in good condition, and underneath the corpse there is an explorer's pack, which doesn't have any rations on it. Those have long since been eaten away, but there is, stuff that you would find. I'd have to go look and see what an explorer's pack has, but I think it's got rope and other things like this
I'll grab
that you
that.
can find in there. As far as the corpse itself, there's no like gold or anything like that. The plate mail is banged up, and it actually looks to you like this person was brutally beaten, just clubbed and kicked and whatever, and that was the reason that he died. These things that came later on obviously infested the corpse after the fact. And the plate mail, although it is banged up, is serviceable. It's enough to fit a medium-sized creature, so it's serviceable plate mail if you wanted to take it off the corpse. So yes.
Well, Morthwell's going to take the shield since he has a proficiency in them.
Okay.
If no one objects.
By all means, I've already nabbed the explorer's pack, so.
I'm not gonna touch any of those.
So the explorer's pack, does that come with a bag, or is it like a bag of things?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bag of stuff.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But just for flavor, I'm gonna open the pack and pour it into my little messenger bag that I've got, because I've only really got maneuverability for one bag, so I'm taking like the rope I'll put over my shoulder, that sort of thing, the bits and pieces that we'll get in a normal explorer's pack. I'll just add to mine.
Okay. Sounds good.
So there's nothing else on the corpse?
Nope. Just the
Cool.
aforementioned, plate mail, shield, and the sword, and then the pack that you found below.
When other people have done what they're doing whilst I was rifling through a dead man's pockets, could I go have a look at this wine rack?
Absolutely. Make an investigation check for me, please, Silvo.
Cool. Investigation. That's a 15.
Underneath the rack, you find one full bottle remaining. I'm sorry. One last thing I want to mention about the body, since Morthwheel and Silvo were both looking at it. You're pretty confident, both of you, that this body has not been here for... It's been here probably for a couple of weeks, maybe, but it hasn't been here for months or years. It looks like this was less than a month old, this body, for whatever that's worth.
And the footprints we were following don't go anywhere near the body. They just beeline to the door.
Correct. That's right.
I like to think that we'll have made a passing comment about how it's not fresh, but it's not fresh. Like it's not old fresh, but it's not new fresh.
Still a little juicy. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as underneath the rack, you find there is one full bottle of wine remaining, which is not broken, and the label of this bottle is an image of a jauntily dressed unicorn, and the bottle is sealed at the moment. It's closed, corked.
So I'm just going to put that down as unicorn wine.
Let me have you make an investigation check on that bottle once you grab it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to slip it into my pack. There is an element of I want to slip that into my pack without anybody noticing, and that's more of a practice thing than a I don't trust these people thing. So, did you want me to do a sleight of hand?
I'm going to have you do sleight of hand, but I want you to do an investigation check for me first, though.
Okay,
oh, well,
okay, cool.
That's
We'll
fine.
do
We'll keep
yeah,
that
no,
one.
That's cool.
Okay.
14 on the investigation check.
The investigation check is you're pretty confident, Silvo, that this is a pretty rare vintage. You think you may have heard someone talking about unicorn wine before, or unicorn-based wine, or the jaunty unicorn or something like that. You believe you've heard of this vintage before, and it's probably pretty valuable. The sleight of hand, I would say, the only one who probably would be looking... Where the other three of you I imagine Morthwell's not going to be in this part because Morthwell's looking at the body. So I would say it would be Waves and Brine. Where are you looking at the moment? Unless it's at each other or around the room, or are you looking in Silvo's direction is my question.
I was going to ask, did Waves take the plate mail from the corpse?
Nope.
It's up to Waves.
Nope. Waves is not getting near that corpse. Waves backed away from the corpse until the wall next to the door. Eyes on the room, but like in the... I put the token there. You can see where I am.
Yeah,
I'm there, and I'm looking at what everybody is doing just in case of maggots.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just making my way halfway up the stairs because I'm still pretty freaked out, and I'm going from each step one to the other where the noise starts and stops, and just to find out at which point the screaming starts and screaming stops.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go over to, because I'm this is freaking me out a little bit. And I say that terrible scream, that ear-splitting scream that I just can't get out of my head. It stops when we get halfway down the stairs. Is that why you thought that it wasn't a real scream?
Waves shakes her head.
Okay, so it was a real scream. We can agree it was a real scream then. Okay.
Waves shakes her head again.
Okay. I'm just gonna...
Silvo, you put it in your pack with no problem since no one's paying attention to you. So
Waves repeats the scream, but like on a short repeating pattern, like to somehow explain that this doesn't sound right.
Okay. And now we're in the room, we can't hear the scream anymore.
Correct. And in fact, Brian, you did not trigger the scream yet when you went up the stairs. You only went halfway up, right? So if you wanted to try to trigger it purposely, were you trying to purposely trigger it just to see?
I was trying to find the point where it starts and stops on the stairs.
The top step, the very top step is, so when you stepped on that, you get the but, which is all the way down in the room is where it comes from.
Okay, as soon as that scream starts, I'm running back down the stairs to where it stops.
Okay. Yeah, when you get off the middle of the stairs, it stops, like dies away.
The blue directional arrow where the footsteps are going, does that lead to a closed door?
It's not a door. It's actually the inside of what looks like an alcove of some kind, and it's just a blank wall, and literally the tracks just stop at the stop abruptly there, right there.
Okay, I want to go and investigate this alcove and try and acid. I'm not going to touch anything yet. I'm just going to visually investigate to try and find out why these footprints stopped. It's obviously a secret something that they haven't just disappeared into thin air.
No, that's right. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me. And I should point out that also right below from this area, like flickering, is just the faintest hint of light.
Oh, not 20.
Wow. Critically understand. Yeah, Brian, as you are looking at it, you can see the light kind of flickering from what looks like a seam down below. Almost certainly this is a secret door of some kind. And you think you might see a way to be able to, there's a brick on one side that looks like it doesn't quite match, and you think you might be able to manipulate that. I know you said you didn't touch it, but you think you might be able to manipulate that to open up what's on the other side, because clearly it's a door of some kind.
Okay, I'm desperately trying to claw back some credibility with the rest of the team by absolutely going overboard with my my explanation of my examination of this door, to the point where it's like, well, you have to understand, if you manipulate that brick in any other way than the way it's supposed to be manipulated, there could be all kinds of catastrophic consequences. However, I can say with all certainty that those footprints went through this secret door, and this is how we open it. Plus, I mean, we don't know how many people are behind there, so I'm happy to be the one to go in front, but obviously I don't want to leave any of you behind, and I know I've been successfully bringing up the rear and making sure that everyone's safe. I just wanted to know that I'm here for you guys.
Impressive.
Yeah, I like that you say all of that exactly in a row. Like, it's just like, also the following, here are my footnotes about all the work on secret doors that has been
Here are
done.
my references for secret door finding.
I keep a diary. It's quite intense.
While this is taking place, I have slowly made my way south, and I'm performing the same level of investigation I did in like this corner. I'm just looking up and down all of the different areas of this wine rack.
Let me have you make another investigation check as you're doing that then.
Okay. Just one, or like each 5?
No, one I think is sufficient.
This one. Let's hope I don't screw it up. Nope, screwed it up. 5.
Yeah, everything. I mean, just a lot of broken bottles here, from what you can tell.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna move over to where Morthwin is.
Who's currently examining the larger box.
I was like, do you think it's full of pennies?
The box seems to be empty, Morthwill. There doesn't seem to be anything in it. There's some kind of like
that's disappointing.
Sort of empty storage bins or something like that. Might have been where, they kept certain bottles of wine before they were organized or something, but there's nothing in there now.
Morthwill looks up and says, well, I'm not going to start pushing these boxes around. The next thing you know, we'll be attacked by a nest of angry badgers the way this journey's gone.
Yeah,
I agree.
Weasels, to be honest. I kind of rub my shoulder a bit. I'm like, yep, yeah, don't want to annoy any other wildlife, to be honest. So I'm gonna go over to the smaller box and see if this is the same.
Looks to be the same deal. Another empty metal storage bin. Yeah.
I slowly and softly as I can close the lid. I'm just like, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this. Right, where to now then?
Well, Brian seems to have found something over there.
I've discovered an incredibly ingeniously disguised door. I'm not sure anyone else would have been, but it's fine because this is where these footprints are going through to. I don't mind leading the way, although if you want me to bring up the rear, that's fine as well. But it looks like this is where the little snotters who made that screaming sound are coming from.
Where'd that screaming sound go anyway?
It seemed to disappear. When I went up the stairs, it started. When I came down the stairs, it mysteriously finished. I can only think that there is some kind of intrinsic pipe system that's piping the screams that are obviously coming from someone under extreme distress. Can
I roll to see how plausible that seems to Morthwill?
You can try to make an insight check if you want. Sure.
Well, it's not my best, but 9.
Could be.
Yeah. I've heard tell of such things.
Well, I think we can all agree that the screaming sound is quite disturbing, and we know that someone's come down here recently.
That corpse, he's been here less than a month, I reckon.
I'm now over by the corpse again. I'm like, yeah, 3 or 4 weeks.
Can we tell how old the footprints are? Obviously, they're in dust, so...
More recent than a couple of weeks, but it's hard to say exactly how much.
Okay.
Oh.
Could I Is the longsword still on the corpse?
Yes, and the longsword is in pretty good condition, actually.
Excellent. I'm gonna take the longsword.
Okay.
Just nothing explodes, nothing attacks me.
No, nothing attacks you. It's all
Excellent. I'm just gonna be like,
there's the 5 maggots burrowing into your face. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
no,
that's
there's
fine.
nothing on.
Okay.
at all.
They can join the ones on the back. It's fine. I'm just like, well, I guess I'll take the sheath as well. I'm just like, I don't carry swords. I just like hook the sheath around, put the sword in it.
Morthwell
Waves-
looks back at Silver and goes, there might be a few loose nails you can take while you're at it.
It depends. You're the engineer. Are they worth money? Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of crappy, to be honest.
Oh, that's not a no.
Waves looks at Silver carrying a sword, and he looks like a person who should not carry such a big sword.
Yeah.
I whip the sword out and I'm just like, look, I'm a fighter now, and I immediately drop the sword.
Like whip it out, like like almost hit Waves.
And
on
she's
the
trying to
face.
figure out, and so she says,
Silvo.
Treasure.
I am, yes, good eye. I just sink the sword back into its sheath. I miss a couple of times though. I'm just like, how do you do this?
Cut
I
the
got
belt
it,
to your
I got it.
trousers.
Just there's a nick in my trousers. There's a new hole in my coat. I'm like, I got it. It's okay. I got it.
when Waves is sure that he will not decapitate himself by accident, and is only going to use the sword as treasure,
Yep.
she'll turn to the door and poke Brian.
Well, eat on.
Okay, are we ready? Should we go through the door?
Lead the way, fearless pirate captain.
Okay, I am going to just give everyone a slight nod and a wink and as I very carefully move in front of the brick so they can't see that it's just a case of pushing this brick in and turning it a little bit.
Like all looks like super complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, as you do that, I think that gives us a moment just to reset for a second and welcome everybody to Pen and Pixels episode 291. You are here with D&D with GOG. You folks are watching Ghosts of Saltmarsh with myself and the amazing GOG crew of Pyron J, Darksaber 2K, Peripheral Mike, and Ananda. If you like what you see in here, please follow us on the channel. Please sub to us here in the channel. Please check out our individual channels and various things that we do here, there, and everywhere on the webs and the internets and all that, and support us there. And thank you all. We'll be with you for about another hour or so, and then we will close up shop for the evening. But now we're going to open this door. The door opens to reveal what is a torchlit room, and this is obviously where the flickering was coming from. Sliding open, like almost, literally into the side there, is this door. And standing in front of you, I'll describe the room and then I'll describe who you see. So this torchlit chamber was obviously once a large cellar, but it has since been converted into living quarters. You can see there are 10 crude, let me highlight it, 10 crude beds here, which are standing along the south wall, and each one of these beds has a wooden locker at its foot. Over here, a long wooden trestle ringed by rickety stools, trestle table, dominates the center of the room. And there's metal cutlery and cups and dirty plates sitting atop the table. This has obviously been used recently. There's a cook stove which has been installed near the table, and there's evidence of recently cooked meals that sits in pots above it. And in fact, as you look down, you can see that basically this is the stove essentially that you've come out of. Like the door slides out and you can see that there's this cook pot is hanging in front of you, but it's here that we're talking about that it got through, right? So you can see the thing hanging above that. And then the last thing that you note is that there is a set of stairs, a sturdy set of stairs, which is leading to a trap door in the ceiling above. And a little bit out of your line of sight, I would say, the room seems to extend a little bit further to the east. So you would need to, move a little bit further south into the room to see more. But in front of you, as you are sort of looking down, you can see that there is a person. This person is standing here. She is currently got a bow that she's holding, which is at her back. And then there is a short sword at her belt. But at the moment, neither one of those is drawn. She has up both hands like this. And she just sort of says, as she sees you, like, "Oh, thank goodness that you've come. I didn't think they'd... I thought they were all going to come for me. You're not from here, are you? I can tell you're not one of them. I'm not dangerous. I'm glad you come." And she kind of stumbles back. She seems to be favoring her leg, one of her legs, pretty severely. Like she kind of limps back a bit, even as you're looking at her.
Can we get through here?
And
even though there's a pot in the way.
And she says, are you asking me or her?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, you should be able to do so. At the moment, the stove is dull and cold. So you think you could just, you just have to like kick the pot out of the way or move it. There does look like there's some kind of like stew or something, some liquid inside the pot, but not a lot. So you could probably move the twine out of the way and kind of, duck through. Yes.
All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move forward into the room.
Okay.
Because I'm probably in front because I opened the door.
Yep.
And not right the way into the room, probably around there.
Okay, stop. When you get there, from you're watching the person, and suddenly you see a sly smile appear on her face. And as that happens, you hear the sound of someone behind you. In fact, two people behind you. If I can just get to the damn things. There we go. All right. From behind you, one person leaps forward with he said as he went to find what the heck the thing was. Where are you? Give me a second. Okay, there we go. Okay. This guy jumps forward. He has got a longish beard, and he has a scimitar, Brian. Not unlike ones that you have seen on pirates like yourself in the past. And he is going to get in an attack on you because you are, not surprisingly, a little bit surprised by this reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately for you, well, let's see, he rolls it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He rolls an advantage, but that's still pretty lousy. I assume a 10 is not going to hit you?
Nope.
Okay, so he misses you terribly because, apparently point blank range with surprise wasn't enough for him. The other one is going to leap forward and do the same thing and attempt to attack you. And that is going to be a 16.
I've got an AC of 16.
Okay, so that just hits. All right, that is going to do 2 points of damage to you only, Brian, with this glancing blow. And the scout in front of you, the person with the hands up, pulls the longbow from her back. And I would like from everybody, again, that little thing we like to call initiative. Remember to touch your tokens first, then hit initiative, and let's get some combat running here. Okay. That he did actually hit. Yeah, I thought about that, but no, I think it's more that Brian almost half out of surprise avoids his attack in the first place. So that's basically, I think, what would happen there. Okay, so we've got Waves, who is probably happy not to be looking at maggots. So we've got Waves with a 19. We have got, let's see. We have got Brian with a 13. Alrighty. Okay. We have got Silvo with the 8. Silvo, too interested in the wine that Silvo has found, maybe. And Morthwheel with a 4. Morthwheel probably still wishing he could get his healing item to work.
I don't think I'll be the one wishing that.
Yeah, it's true. Everybody else will be wishing it. Okay, so let's put you all there. Bear with me just 1 second. Okay. Brian, what is your dexterity again? I'm sorry.
My dex is 14.
Okay. So, all right. All right, and okay, and that one is going to be okay. Cool. So let me see. I'm sorry. You said it was 13?
14.
14. Okay. All right. So it still works out that way. Okay. All right. First to act is going to be Waves. You are up. You have seen 2 people try to attack through the door here. You've seen 2 people try to attack Brine. Definitely not maggots.
You say C, so there's light in that room?
Yes. The whole room is torchlit.
Okay, wonderful. I put my lantern down and take my shield because damn those maggots.
Yep.
And yeah, get into the room between. If I can get here without an attack of opportunity, because I'm not sure how the little walls work.
Oh yeah, yes, you can do that.
And hopefully getting out of the way of our people who can do ranged, strange magic things,
Okay.
and score that dwarf with my rapier if I can.
Okay, go ahead and do so.
18.
18 is going to hit, yes. These ones are dressed in leather armor, by the way.
24.
Oh! No, wait a minute.
Something is wrong.
Wait a
Something
minute.
is
Something
wrong.
is very wrong. No rapier did 24 points
Wait.
of damage.
Yes, no,
cow.
it's
Should be
crow.
one. Wait, I might have clicked on the attack. That's right. Why is it not doing it?
So now if you click on the word rapier, does that work? Oh, no, that doesn't work at all.
We need to find out what this is.
No. 1d8 plus 5 is the real one, so I'm just gonna put it in.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I just was able to do that there. Okay, so 1d8 plus 5. So,
Yes.
and yeah, he's right. If
Would
you
you like
click
me to?
on,
Would you like me to roll it?
yeah, just because if you click it on what Mike just said, if you click on that rapier thing, then it fires up.
Okay, 13.
There you go.
That I'll buy. Yes. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not sure why this didn't work this time. I
Okay.
might have just
That's
been
okay.
stupid.
If you just
So you
consistently rolled like medium numbers, he wouldn't have noticed. Would have been fine.
yeah, medium numbers. 13 is still a lot of damage, and you pierce this guy
Yes.
through the throat. Just, and he immediately drops to the ground dead. It was very impressive. Okay,
Stone cold.
stone cold. All right.
Is this going to turn into Reginald and the Bats?
I just don't have as many facial expressions as you people do.
Oh my god.
Okay, good stuff out
Lack
of
of facial expressions.
good stuff out of Waves. That is going to lead us to Brine. So you have now got one on you, and there's also the person with the longbow. But I'm assuming you're more concerned about the dude who just tried to attack you.
Yeah, I'm quite perturbed, should I say,
Yes.
that this guy attacked me from behind. Plus, I'm holding my scimitars, not my bow and or my crossbow. And if I move, he'll get an attack of opportunity. I'm going to attack the dwarf
Okay.
because
Logical.
he's annoyed me. Have I still got disadvantage?
Yep. You do. Hopefully that will go away soon.
Okay, so 12,
12 is just enough. This guy's wearing leather armor. Not the best quality either.
and that attack has 7 slashing damage.
Okay. So that definitely hurt. He's not dead, but that definitely hurt him as your scimitar slashes across his side. And he kind of grunts and holds his side. And you're
I've got
not
a second attack.
right.
And with the disadvantage on that, that's 14
That will
with
still
9
hit.
slashing.
Boy, I'll tell you, the previous Adventures of Middle-earth crew I was playing with could have used some of these rolls. Okay.
Well, they took all the inspiration, so I think it's only fair.
That's probably true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so 9 points of damage. Yeah, this you you strike this one down. Okay. So
As a bonus action, can I just turn and wink at waves crashing at rocks? Because we've just, like, taken them out.
annihilated them. Yes, absolutely. You can do that as a free action.
Thank you.
Okay. This one...
Wink back.
It is now the scout's turn. The scout is going to run to here, fire, and then, let's see. And then what? Maybe they'll go the other way. No, I take it back. The scout's going to run... Let me move my turn one thing. Scout is going to run this way. How much movement do you have, Scout? Okay. So, I'm going to move... Is going to run this way. I think and just get there to the other side of the table. And then is going to take aim and fire at Brine with her longbow. And this is 2 attacks that she gets, actually. First one is going to be a 16. And the second one is a 16. Very convenient. 2 16s. Both hits?
My AC is 16, so...
Oh, just. All right. Let's see, with a longbow. 9 points of damage to you, Brine.
I'm down.
So, you see these 2 arrows, stunk, and then the scout is behind the table. And that is going to bring us to, let me just put in the little currently dying command. That is going to bring us to Silvo with Morthwheel on deck. Silvo, what do you want to do?
Well, I'd like to stop seeing Brian die.
Yeah, this is not a...
What I'd like to do, because this really stresses him out, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's very inconvenient for his day. So I'm going to move like an idiot into the room here. So there's a pot here, right?
Right, you're just kind of standing on one side of the pot, basically, at the moment.
So by this moment I get here, can I see this person?
Yes, she's trying to duck down below, but she doesn't, it's not that tall a table, so yes, you can see her.
Cool. Bear with me just 1 second. I just want to see what one of my spells...
Destroy scout spell with my...
Yeah, obliterate. What's power word kill?
Power word destroy all enemies.
That's a cantrip. No.
It's
so what I would like to happen is basically I come in, I see Brian down, I gasp, I look at, there's an arrow sticking out of Brian and only one person
Two of them.
holding a bow. 2 of them,
yep.
And only one person holding a bow. I look at the scout, I just panic, and suddenly a mage hand appears and shoves the table into the scout.
Ooh.
So I want to know mechanically, does that work? And also, what are the effects of that? My idea is I want to knock the person prone.
It's a good idea, but the table is going to weigh more than 5 pounds, and that's the problem. Mage hand can move 5 pounds.
10 pounds.
10 pounds? It's still heavier than that. There's a bunch of stuff around it. It's a good idea.
Throw a chair at
her. You could probably move a chair. It's not clear if that would knock her prone, but maybe.
Okay. This is a reaction thing. Like, I'm not spending it, I'm not using it mechanically as a reaction, but this is Silvo's magic reacting to the current situation.
Okay, so you are using it, though, in-game mechanically as an action, though, right?
Yes, in-game mechanically as an action. This is going to be my mechanical action.
Okay.
But this is more a case of Silvo is reacting to the current situation rather than going, I want to cast this.
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to have her make a dexterity saving throw to see if she avoids that.
So while he's doing that, you basically just see it looks like a spectral hand, but it's got claws, and you're not quite sure why, Waves. And you see it grab a chair and just whip it towards this scout.
So the good news is that this thing does impact. I'd like you to roll 1d4. We're going to see if it does any damage when it hits.
Oh, cool. That's not what I was expecting. That'll be a 4.
Okay. So it's going to do 4 points of damage, and she grunts. The not as good news is that it does not knock her over. She made her save, but she was hit by the thing.
Great. Now she can see me.
Yeah. She was not. Yeah. That whole thing was unfortunate for her.
I can't move again now, can
I? Well, how far did you move so far?
5, 10, 15 feet?
No, you have another 15 feet
feet
you can move. You could.
Okay. I'm going to stagger backwards to about here and go to Morthwell. Brian is down. There's an archer.
Okay. Morthwell, it's your turn.
All Morthwell was seeing is a quick flash a person jump Brian, die immediately, Brian get hit by an arrow, and then Silvo barge past him.
This last 12 seconds has been a fascinating period of time.
Yes. So Morthal just sort of looks, blinks, and heads over to here himself.
Okay.
And pulls out his trusty lockpick of firebolting.
Okay.
And he's going to launch a firebolt at the sniper.
Okay.
Okay.
I watch this intently.
An 8.
So unlike the swarm, the scout does have actual some AC. So she dodges out of the way nimbly as the firebolt shoots by.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move to there with the rest of my movement to clear the way for Silvo.
Okay. That's going to bring us up to the top of the round with waves. Brine is down. The scout has been hurt but is not dead, and you've obviously executed with extreme prejudice a couple of creatures that dared to attack your compatriots.
Can I reach the scout if I run over?
Let's see. What your speed is what, 30?
Yep, just normal speed.
Yes, you can get there. Yep.
And hit her, yes?
Yes, you could arrive right here. If you go this way, you could arrive here and attack her.
Mm-hmm. I have seen Morthwell care about people who are down. He seems to be good at it. I seem to be good at curing people, so I go here and do that.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
16.
16 will hit. 35 damage.
And 6 damage.
Okay, that definitely, the scout is definitely pretty hurt. Not dead, but that definitely got the scout's attention. The scout's like, "Arr!" as your rapier pierces through dramatically. Have you missed waves in this game? Like, do you ever miss anybody when you attack? I feel like you never miss.
That's the secret.
No, but why should I? There's no good reason.
There's no good reason to miss. Of course, the Meg didn't miss either. Hey-oh, too soon. Anyway, moving.
The weasel also got me last
The
time.
weasel did too. No, that's true. You're an equal opportunity hitter. Okay, Brian, you are currently on the ground, and I need you to make a death saving throw for me. So you're making that d20? Just, yep. Okay, so you've got one success. Lovely. Now it is the scout's turn. The scout is going to drop the longbow, and is going to draw forth the short sword and slash at you, Waves. And is going to do so with 2 attacks. That is a, 19 and a 23.
That hits even with my shield.
Okay, so it is going to do... Holy crap. Okay, that's that is going to be 10 points of damage between the two.
I'm down then.
And brings you down. Waves crashes to the ground. So like I said, Waves gets hit by everybody, but hits everybody. Okay. So
I would just like to remind everyone I am out of spell slots.
Yeah.
I am also out of spell slots.
Okay, having done that, having dropped you to the ground, the scout is then going to go up here, picks up her longbow, and is going to run up to this trap door and basically fiddles with it as if she's working to get it open, which only Morthwell can see because everyone else is unconscious except for Silvo, who's out of the room. That leads us to Silvo. Silvo, you've heard several grunts, and you see Brian is still on the ground. You were up, and Morthwell is on deck.
Cool. I spent this moment panicking and also loading my crossbow, so I'm going to move back into the room here.
Okay.
Can I see the scout from here?
Yes, just. The scout is at the top near the... Well, not just. Is up on the stairs, up near the trap door. Seems to be working with something. So, yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to lean against the wall to give myself a little bit more stability as I aim, and I'm going to shoot a bolt at them.
Fire away.
Light crossbow. Pew, 15.
Will hit.
Will hit. Thunks them for 10 points of damage.
Wow. So she's trying
that is max damage, everyone.
And the scout just tumbles down the stairs and lies dead. Just as the combat music was coming to an end of its current loop. All right. So we are not out of initiative yet, though, even though I'm turning up the other, because the reason we're not out of initiative is because you still have 2 dying people. So Morthwheel is up next. You can move somewhere if you want, Silvo, because I think you only moved in like 10 feet.
Yes. Well, I was just going to move out of the way of the pot so that I could basically tend to brine.
Okay, sounds good. Morthwheel, that means you're running in on your turn, if I understand this correctly?
Well, I've got a speed of 25, so by my reckoning, I can make it there
5,
with
10,
a move.
15, 20. Yes.
Okay, yeah, and I'm assisting Waves.
Okay, go ahead and make a medicine check here to stabilize Waves.
Okay, it's just a flat 20 for me. 10.
10. Good. Stabilized. Waves is out of danger. That brings us up to the top. Waves is out of danger, so don't worry about her. That brings us, still unconscious though, that brings us to Brine, who is not currently out of danger. So Brine, I'm going to need you to make another death saving throw for me, please.
15.
2 successes. Okay, that's fine. And now, Silvo, you can go. So now you can attempt to stabilize.
Yep. Medicine check. It's a 7.
Not so much. You're like, oh, carry the 1, do the thing, but you can see that she is not yet.
I know basic anatomy. I don't know really how to heal it. I know these wooden things shouldn't be sticking out of you.
Exactly. So that doesn't work out, unfortunately, Silvo.
I can't stop that bleeding.
So Morthwheel, you hear that, basically, and
so I should be able to get over to there with my move. And
yeah, you can get there.
I will do the same again. Unfortunately, I don't have a lovely needle of healing for everybody, so I'm just sort of poking with my lockpick, going, "Come on, do something."
That succeeds. So you are able to do. You're able to do so. Now we are out of initiative. Both of your compatriots are out of danger, albeit unconscious. So then eerie silence settles over the room, and I will just make one other note about the room that you can now see that there is also a door here. And a door here, and there seems to be something odd about this door, Morthwheel / Silvo, but you won't be able to tell what it is until you get a little bit closer. But otherwise, your compatriots are unconscious, but not dead, so positives. The bandits and the scout whoever these creatures are, lie dead in the room.
So there's a dead bandit near me, isn't there?
There are 2, actually, and also the scout that had the bow.
I'm going to rifle through their pockets and see if they had anything like a healing potion or anything that would be medicinal in nature.
I'm going to head over to where the scout fell down the stairs, but on the way I'm going to lift up Waves and put her on one of the beds.
Okay.
I am not going to attempt that with Brian because I'm tiny and she's massive.
What are you saying about my hips?
All I'm saying is giant stabby lady. That's all I'm saying. Giant stabby lady.
Let's see. Okay. So as you're sort of looking through as you're looking through the sort of bodies of these things, of these creatures, you can see the scout has a good quality longbow and a short sword on her person, in addition to some arrows. The bandits that you took out are these 2 dwarves that you removed. They have got scimitars and light crossbows along with some crossbow bolts. None of them have gold, but it is definitely the case, Silvo, that all of these are wearing the same kind of leather armor. It's not great armor level condition, but it's not terrible either, and it's definitely the same kind of armor. These people, if you had to guess, are all part of the same outfit.
I can say, is there an insignia or a symbol
There's not.
or a logo or anything?
There is
like
no
that?
insignia, no.
Okay. They just all seem to be made by the same Fletcher, basically.
Correct.
It's the same in-house Fletcher as well. Okay, so I'm rifling through their pockets. I don't find anything medicinal. I am, through practiced moments of my life, piling stuff into a pile, so like crossbow bolts, the 2 scimitars, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any gold on them, but like those items I'm putting to one side next to the bodies. But I don't find anything healing, so I just look at Morthwheel. I'm like, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no healing potions. There's no nothing.
We can't keep this pace up. I mean, How many times is this now?
I can't. I don't know what to do. I've never done. I'm looking. I'm panicking. I'm stuttering. Silvo is panicking and stuttering. He's got Brian's blood on his hands and on his coat. And he just looks pale and terrified at this point. Like you're very aware that he's never done anything like this before.
I mean, Morthoil's no seasoned adventurer himself. he's trying to be confident, but there's definitely a tremor in his voice. I think we need to barricade ourselves in somewhere, give ourselves time to catch our breath.
I reckon the room previous. There's too many unknowns here.
I can spike some doors shut. I pull out a couple of pitons from my tool belt.
Okay.
Do you think you could spike the sliding door shut, or do you think you could spike these doors around the corner shut?
I'll see what I can do. I go and examine all three doors and see how jammable they may be,
Okay.
preferably in a way that can be undone.
Yeah, I'll come with you, because if I can see that they have a manual lock, like a mechanical lock, I can maybe jam it up as well.
Okay. So as you approach this,
Sorry, I'm also going to ask Morthal, would you mind helping me carry Brian to a bed?
I come over to assist.
Thank you.
Okay, so you bring Brian over to one of the
Let's go
beds.
like this one.
Okay. So when you get over to this area here, the door to your left, which is to the north, this one up here, seems normal, but the one ahead here has a wooden bar across it, which is held in brackets on the frame and the door itself. And on the door, scrawled in chalk in the common tongue, you see the word danger in all caps.
We should not go through that door.
I think that's the smartest idea we've had since we got here.
Don't dead open inside.
Nice.
That's exactly what I'm imagining right now. Okay, so this door, the north door, does this have brackets for a barricade?
No.
Does this
Looks
have a
just
lock?
Totally normal. It does, but it may not be locked. You're not sure yet. You'd have to try it to see.
I'll kind of motion Mothwell over. Mothwell, can you lock this?
I can try. I do have proficiency with lock-picking tools. I assume you can... Oh, thieves' tools, rather. I assume you can use them in reverse to lock things. I've never tried that.
Oh, well, I've got proficiency in thieves' tools as well, so I didn't know. I didn't know if you were going to use some sort of... If you use your thing that you just mentioned, your piton, to jam it shut.
Yes. Well, we can lock it and jam it shut.
Okay, you jam, I'll lock.
All right. Good plan.
I was about to say, from the outside though, you're like, damn it, I didn't mean to. Are you jamming and locking the door on this side, or are you going through to see what's on the other side and locking it from there?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna listen at the door.
Sure, make a perception check.
Like, if anyone's like, God damn it, where did that scout go?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I thought I heard something, sort of thing. Perception check. Perception. Nope, why do I keep wanting to press persuasion?
Persuade the door. Tell me your secrets.
11.
You do not hear anything in there. It's completely silent.
I have no way of knowing.
Have you tried looking through the lockpick? I hear that's a good trick.
Looking through the lockpick?
Sorry,
I'm not an artificer.
The keyhole.
Oh,
This
right,
little needle.
Yeah, that's a good show, actually. Yeah, I'll have a peek through the keyhole, see if I can see anything. This is where the trap just blinds me.
Yeah, exactly. You were immediately that happened to someone in a camp.
I know.
You were there for that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. So,
acid in his face.
when you look inside this, actually, you can see just barely what looks like there might be a bed. That's pretty much all you can see, but it does not. You don't see anyone in the room though, or anything.
Realistically, no, I'm not even going to try it. I'm good at sneaking around with sleight of hand. I was going to say, realistically, could I quietly open the door, poke my head in stealthily, and then leave?
You could try. I mean, you could certainly try to do that. They may see you when you do
that's
these
a
things if
dumb
there is
idea.
someone there, but you don't see anybody there
I
at
think
the
that's
moment.
a dumb idea in this current situation. When at least 50%, we have 50% more fighters. Yes, I'll definitely do that. But
I could always give you some guidance on how to be better at it.
if I fluff this roll, though,
then you have guidance, right? It's fine.
Or not looking in the don't dead open inside door. I feel more
I'm
confident.
not looking in that one. I'm not.
No.
I'm not climbing the bar. Jeez. I've seen Walking Dead and Resident Evil. Like I'm not doing that. We're going in there after we've laid. These beds are here for a reason. Okay, we're having a nap. It is nap time right now.
Who puts
Okay.
nap time room right next to a deadly danger room?
It's a level 1 dungeon. Don't overlook it. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Would you like some guidance?
Yes. Go on then. This is
Oh,
a dumb
righty.
idea, but this is not an idea that Peripheral Mike would do, but this is definitely an idea that Silvo in his infinite 23-year-old wisdom would do.
So, pulling out my black orb of guidance, I give it a shake, and you hear me mumble, "It is certain." And then I touch you with my lockpick and cast
Nice.
guidance.
Excellent,
Okay.
thank you. Doing. So I'm going to try and open the door very carefully, peek inside, and then leave very carefully and shut the door.
Give me a stealth check, please.
Oh God. What does guidance do? Sorry.
You can add D4 to your roll.
I can add a D4 to my roll.
Yes.
So it is already a 17.
It was hovering on that 1 for a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Plus D4 would make it a stealth check of 18.
Okay. So you very quietly open the door. It does not creak or anything like that.
I've oiled the hinges as well, apparently.
And inside here, as you open the door, you can see that unlike the barracks, this small room holds comfortable furnishings and appears to be well cared for. There is a comfortable looking bed that's here in the northwest corner of the room, and it has a wooden locker at its foot. There's a small wooden table standing against the eastern wall with a padded leather chair beside it. On the table, a brass 3-branch candlestick with 3 burning candles provides the room with bright light, and the candles, although they are not fresh, are far from spent. Under the table is a small wooden box and an unlit bullseye lantern with a movable shutter over the lens. You know what a bullseye lantern is, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on a shelf above the table sit 3 books. And finally, in the northeast corner is a closed wooden wardrobe. And the room is vacant of people. There doesn't seem to be anything here.
Okay. I'm going to look over them all, and I'm going to say, look over them a second. Wait here. I'll be right back. And I'm going to slip into the room. I'm going to shut the door behind me quietly as well.
Okay.
Silvo, mimics.
Yes.
You do that, the entire
All of
room
the
comes to life.
furniture.
No.
So,
All
yeah.
of the furniture.
You do that. Swarms appear
Yes,
from everywhere.
swarms of everywhere. No. Okay, you close the door behind you.
Descends. You're about to be a Silvo sandwich. So talk to me about this box.
So that is so we're talking about there's 2 things. There's the foot locker, which is at the foot of the bed, and then there's a small wooden box under the table. So
I see. Okay. So and this is a chair to my right.
correct.
Right?
Nice leather chair. And then
Nice
you got a
chair.
wardrobe up here to the northeast, which is closed.
Okay. So I'm going to.
And then the table with the books above it on a shelf.
And that's the one with the candlestick on, right?
The candlestick is on the the candlestick is on the table. And above the table are the shelves with the 3 books.
No hesitation. Candlestick, candles and all immediately goes in my bag.
Okay, so you're putting out the candles?
Yes.
Okay. So the room is immediately plunged into darkness.
I have dark vision. It's fine.
Okay, so it's fine. And you can put now.
World has
This
now
is a
gone
pretty big
grayscale.
candelabra. How exactly this pack?
It's like a medium to large messenger bag. Like
Okay.
you could fit. Like I'm not going to put swords in it, but I could probably. I mean, if it's a candelabra, like it has to stand on the floor, then I've got a problem.
Okay.
But if it's a candelabra, it's probably going to stick out.
No, that's
Don't get
fine.
me wrong.
Okay.
I just rock out. I'm just like, nope, nothing at all.
Okay, so be aware that pretty much this is you're carefully putting in next to the, let me remind you, bottle of wine in a glass bottle that you already have in your pack. So you're able to put it next to that. But
I'm good at reorganizing stuff.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so all right, you do that. Candelabra out of the pack.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to think really, really hard about not touching that box, but I'm going to hover my hand over it, and as I do so, a spectral clawed hand touches the box and opens it.
Okay, the box underneath the table, right?
The box underneath the table
Okay.
specifically.
So as you open the box underneath the table, you find in there a couple of things. First of all, there are 12 candles in here.
Okay.
There is flint and steel. And there is also a piece of parchment in there, which has what looks to be a set of instructions. Basically what this describes... Well, actually, you can tell me. There's stuff on it, so do you want to read what's on it?
Yes. Well, I'll give it a quick glance.
Okay,
I'm not
so...
gonna, if it's like a manifesto, I'm not
No,
gonna
it's
sit here
not
for 3
that.
hours reading it.
But what looks like... what this seems here... is there are, as you're sort of looking at this, you can see 3 lines, and it says long, short, 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 and then says colon, is it safe? Then the second line down, short, long, colon, everything safe, and last the words... Third line down, last the words, long, colon, ready to unload, come to the ship.
I'm just making notes, sorry.
Yep, that's fine.
So just to confirm, we have 3 lines. So we have long, short, 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 is it safe?
Yep.
Short, long, everything's safe.
Yep.
Long, unload, come to ship.
Yep.
Ready to unload, come to ship.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. So I take the parchment, immediately tuck it into a breast pocket.
Okay.
I will also take the flint and the steel. Don't really care about the candles, gotta be honest. Actually take the candles out of my bag that I've taken and just stick them in the box. Is there anything else in the box?
There is, they're right next to, there's nothing in the box. Right next to the box, though, is this unlit bullseye lantern. And you can see, by the way, that this bullseye lantern is a little unusual, Silvo. It has what looks like, you don't really know what it is, but it looks almost like a flared end. So, there's a shutter, like a bullseye lantern, you can show one part of it at a time. That's what a bullseye lantern is. You can open one side of it. But this also has what looks like a flare on one end, by which I mean flared metal, like almost a tube
like a
that
cone.
expands out. Yes, exactly. Like a reverse cone.
So does it look a little bit thematically like a torch? Like I could use it so the light would go further.
Correct.
Okay.
I had to immediately process torch, meaning not torch, but meaning the British
Not
version
torchlight.
of flashlight. Yes,
no,
that is correct.
Flashlight, sorry. Flashlight.
No, that's fine. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. That is exactly what it looks like.
Okay, excellent stuff. I can. How big is it? Can I take it and hook it onto my belt?
You could hook it under your belt, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take it and hook it onto my belt because that seems important, especially with the note. These candles, do they fit in this lantern?
They do fit in the lantern, yes.
Okay, so I'll take a couple of candles.
Okay.
The candles from the box, not the candles from the candelabra.
Okay.
So lantern candles, basically, unless they're just universal candles.
Okay.
And stick those in my bag as well. Anything else about the box I need to know?
Not by or in the box, no.
Okay, cool. Footlocker.
Okay, but as you're going to the footlocker, let me just double check in with Morthwheel, because he's been in there a little
absolutely.
while. Is there a point where you're like,
Yeah, at this point, Morth, given our run of luck, for all we know, Silvo's currently dying of acid poisoning.
So as you say that,
or a snake to the face.
No,
Or maybe
okay.
we found that badger nest.
as you think that, you hear Silvo's voice in your head, like as clear as if he were standing right next to you, and you hear him say, "So there's some stuff in this room. I'm just going to see if there's any healing items, but there's no traps so far." And the way I'm doing that, for anybody who's wondering, is because of my subclass, I am telepathic. So I can immediately speak telepathically with one person of my choosing who I have seen before.
You can't read minds, can you? Maybe.
Well,
but to be fair, we don't know.
Yeah, I've not revealed that.
Yes.
Now that you mention it, note to self.
Yeah. No. So you can do whatever you want to do with that information. You can do with that information, but you literally just within a few seconds, you hear Silvo's voice in your head as though he was stood right behind you.
Morthwell thinks loudly at Silvo, not knowing if he can hear him or not. In Morthwell's head, you hear,
think?
I'll come in and help because you might get caught by a trap. But better that someone's watching out just in case.
Now, does this telepathy that you have that
It
Silvo,
works both ways.
It does work both
Okay.
ways. Okay.
It works both. So you hear Silvo go, okay.
All right.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Of course,
When
the
do we
unconscious
wake
people don't
up?
hear this, so
No, the unconscious people
When-
don't hear this.
can't
That's the
wake
one
up
that-
yet. This has just happened within the last, it's only been a couple of minutes, so not yet.
So Morthwell's going to come
That's
in.
why I didn't ask you folks what you were doing. You're lying, being
So-
unconscious at the moment, unfortunately.
So there was a lantern and some candles and stuff in that little box under the table.
Right.
There's a wardrobe. No, I'm saying this to Morthwell.
Oh, sorry.
There's a wardrobe and a footlocker. I was gonna open the footlocker safely, just in case, because we haven't had the greatest luck. Do you want to take the wardrobe or do you want to take the footlocker?
I'll have a look at the wardrobe, I think.
Right. Cool. I'll wait until Morthwell passes me before doing the mage hand opening box trick, which
Okay.
takes me a couple of seconds. I gotta be honest.
Okay, so you're dealing with the wardrobe, Morthwell?
Yes, check it for traps before I touch the thing.
Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please.
Okay.
It's up at the right side of the room, the northeast
Yeah.
corner.
Just
up there.
about,
Yeah, cool.
There we go. Right. I
Just
swear,
in
if
case
this
anyone's
explodes with bees, I'm going to be very miffed.
Giant bees,
Yep, that's why I sent you. Man.
perfectly safe. Morthwell, perfectly safe.
Yeah. Okay, so I
100%
try the door, see if it opens.
Okay. When you open up the when you open this thing up, there is inside it a fancy floor-length oilskin coat. It is trimmed in iridescent green silk. It is very nice. It's also
You
way
just do
nicer than
silver.
the creatures you've dealt with so far.
You just let Silvo go, ooh, fancy.
Yes. What size person would it fit?
Someone taller than you. It would be it'd be human level. Also, just Silvo, do me a favor and make an investigation check for me. I missed something before. Morthwell. So you see that inside. It's just hanging in the wardrobe right now.
19.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a minute.
Just the waterproof? I don't know.
The trench coat.
But yeah, the very fancy trench coat.
Yeah.
You notice as you're looking at it that there are numerous pockets in it, although they do seem to be
Ooh.
empty. You'd have to look more touch it and move around with it, but you can see even from here a couple pockets in the sleeves.
I'll start patting down the coat.
Okay. As you're doing that, Silvo, underneath the table when you were looking there was what looks like kind of a compartment. A secret compartment.
Oh, like in the floor?
In the underside of the table.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll
Because you had
shimmy
mentioned
back
that
over.
before, and I
Yeah. I'll shimmy back over and have a look at it.
Okay. It's fairly decent size, actually. And you were able to, it looks like there's one spot where you could if you wish to try to open it, looks like there's a spot where you could basically pull two parts of what look like the beams underneath the table holding it up, but they're actually part of this kind of cleverly concealed container. So you could try to open that if you wish doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just like, it's okay. It's either gold or healing potions. I'll take either right now. So I'll just pry it open and try and catch it with my elbow.
Neither gold nor healing potions, but a large leather-bound book drop into your arms.
Dunk. Ooh. Okay. Is it sealed? Is it?
No.
Is it just a normal book? Okay.
I mean, it's leather-bound.
Yeah.
But
Flick to the first page. What is it?
it looks like a bunch of arcane writing, if you had to guess, Silvo. Probably spells of some kind.
Okay, that's definitely going in my pack. That is.
Now we're going to talk about room in a pack.
Yeah,
you
that's
currently
fine.
have a
So-
bottle of wine, a candelabra, and a large book is not going to fit in with those things. I should have mentioned, Morthwell, when you came in at the top of the candelabra is just
sticking
above
out.
the,
Yeah. Just sticking out of my pack. Okay, I'm going to take the candelabra out and I'm going to put the book in. Is there a way of positioning the book in with the wine bottle so that the wine bottle won't smash?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because it's leather bound, so I'm assuming it's going to be
Yes.
reasonably soft impact. I'm also assuming that having carried a messenger bag with a wine bottle and books in before,
Yeah.
I know that you can position them in such a way that makes you sound like such a drunk academic. You can position them in such a way so it kind of cushions the blow. So I'll do that, but I'll take the candelabra out, but I'm keeping the candelabra in my hand.
Okay.
And I look over at Morthwell. Does Morthwell look over at this point?
If you make some noise, I will look over my shoulder because I assume I hear you like rearranging stuff.
Yeah, so I'm rearranging stuff. You hear the book fall out, and I'm just like, ooh, that'll be interesting later on. And then you see me like ruffle around in this gold candelabra. I'm just like, salvage rights.
Well, we did have first dibs.
And now I'm going to shuffle back over to this footlocker and hopefully find something that will help my unconscious friends that isn't plated in gold. But I'll also accept that for you.
Okay.
The bad news is you're all going to die. The good news is I found some neat stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like at this point, I've known you guys for like 3 hours. So, like right now, like it's shiny, it's mine, and then I can, if the need arises, potentially cut my losses and run.
So the footlocker is open, and it's unlocked, I should say. And so when you open it, what you find inside are what look like spare sheets. There's like a bunch of spare sheets for the bed.
Is there anything underneath the sheets?
Does not appear to be.
So just bedding.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, unless I'm gonna pantomime as a ghost. Actually, are there any holes in these sheets?
No.
Okay. Well, the ghosts could have been made up. Who knows?
I just had this image of this dark brown cloth ghost that, but anyway.
Combined with my screaming rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we've had worse plans.
I think we've just solved a point and click puzzle.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, I've played that. I've played that Discord game. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything else that I can find in here. I move here and look at Morthwell. What Morthwell's doing?
Who is continuing to pat down the trench coat?
Nothing in those pockets. Nope, they're all empty.
Bugger all in here except the coat itself. Bit big for me, but might fetch a pretty penny if we can carry it out afterwards.
Aye. Like you said, salvage rights. I mean, it does have an awful lot of pockets that would be shame to go to waste, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm starting to think the salvage is coming at a bit of a high price at this point, mind.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, tapping the candelabra on his shoulder. Right, so I'm gonna head back out of the door.
Wasn't there 3 books on the shelf above the table as well?
Books.
Noticing that they're still there, Morthwell's gonna go and have a look at those.
The first book on the left, as you open it, Morthwell, you are either scandalized or, I don't know, intrigued to find a book of many naked bodies, and there are poems next to them. Something about flowers that open and the forbidden fruit, and basically a lot of erotic poetry.
Oh my.
Yes, this is the sinister secret of Saltmarsh. No, so there's a volume of illustrated erotic poetry.
Fan fiction already.
Yeah, there is. The second thing has looks to be like some kind of naval almanac. It looks like there's tide times for the area of coast around Saltmarsh. Quite detailed, actually, Morthwell, about when tide rises and falls. And the third book looks to be a treatise about, as it says in common, the demigod Ayaz and his minions. Now, I've talked a little bit about Ayaz before. He is a demigod of evil who rules one of the countries not far from where you are in Greyhawk here in Saltmarsh. But before you can pay too much attention to it, as you're opening that book, a sheet of parchment falls out and flutters to the ground.
Morthwell's going to put the book back and reach down for the parchment and have a look at that.
On the parchment, there are a few simple words and phrases in the common tongue, which say stop, fight, lift, come, words like that. And then right next to them, words that you don't really recognize, written in some other language. At least I don't think so. What languages do you speak, Morthwell?
Common and Dwarfish.
Okay, yeah. So you recognize, obviously, the common, but you don't know what the word is next to it. But it's obviously some kind of definition, like translating thing. So all simple words, about 7 or 8 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, the
I'm-
sexier secrets of Saltmarsh. Yes, David.
Well, I'm going to bring the books and the parchment out with me.
Okay.
Let me jot those down.
Oh yeah, I need to make a note of what I picked up.
Yes, treasure. Sexy book.
Sexy book.
Sexy book.
Sexy
Tide book.
Tide book.
Evil God book.
Evil God book.
Dictionary page sheets.
Some sort of instructions.
Oh, would it be it'd be a.
What did
I do want to note
some.
something with Brian, and then to let something about just remind everybody about the party. First of all, Brian, you'll be happy to know that when you recover, you will no longer be frightened. I'm sure you're glad to hear that. Your
face
fear
that
will
fear.
have been gone. But having said that, I do want to remind the party also that if you do nothing over the course of an hour or so, you will the wounds will heal enough basically for someone to gain a hit point back. If you do nothing at all over the course of, I think it's actually 4 hours for a short rest. So you could do that, or if you decide to take a short rest, then you can start using hit dice to restore hit points and so forth. So you could do that too, but I wanted to let you know that because we're going to be wrapping here pretty soon. So
Yeah, I mean, table talk. I was looking for ways that we might be able to safely do a long rest.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I
don't
mean
know.
that's cool too, but like
Yeah, but
we
obviously...
could so table talk a second. We could carry the other two into this room and barricade this door. Does this door open into the room or out of the room?
the door opens inward into the room.
Inwards. Okay, we could barricade this room, and then set ourselves up for a long rest.
That's what I was thinking along those lines. Yeah.
It's a small room. We have plenty of furniture to pile in front of it.
Yeah.
Be aware if you do a long rest, though. Just be aware of the fact that if you do a long rest, that is going to be about 8 hours, and you may already have. I mean, like as you said, you made a lot of noise, and these guys tried to ambush you. So I'm just letting you know that other things are not going to be static while you do the long rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Yeah.
Think
it's
of
sort
every Infinity Engine game ever. Your sleep has been interrupted. Think of that.
Yeah. On the other hand, the next fight is definitely.
Oh no, I'm not
gonna
saying
go
just
well.
forge forward. I'm, you have to rest somehow. I'm just,
So maybe we should take a short rest.
Short rest.
Yeah. I'm in favor of a short
mean,
rest as soon as I'm awake again.
I got to be honest, a short rest probably isn't going to do much for me, as far as I'm aware. I don't get any spells back on a short rest, do I?
No.
So
It's mainly for the injured parties rather than ourselves.
Well, I was thinking, I could stand guard. I could keep watch just in case anyone. I mean, it's still 4 hours. That's still a long time.
No, short rest is not that long. Short rest is an hour.
Oh, is it an hour? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just saying if you didn't do anything to them, they would recover a hit point in 4 hours. But otherwise, they can use hit dice and stuff.
Okay, then we'll bring them in this room, barricade this room shut, and then we can get a good hour's worth of kip.
Okay,
What
is
do you
that what
I
you and Mark
think
will do?
it's needed at this point.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Just
I
as we're
show
moving-
Silvo the parchment and go, do these words mean anything to you? Not the common ones. I speak common.
Yeah, what do you speak, Silva?
Well, that depends what they're written in. So I speak common. Where's my languages? I speak common, Elvish, and deep speech.
Nope, this is not any of those things.
Excellent.
Another mystery then.
All right, so you bring everybody in so everyone can move their tokens into that room.
Yes.
And
Morthal's
then-
going to plonk himself in the leather chair.
Okay. Otherwise, someone gets the table, someone gets the bed, I assume.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner. Like there's a very practice motion where I just I bundle myself up into like a cross-legged position, like I'm wrapping my coat around me.
Okay.
Like you've definitely seen homeless people do this in shelters. Like,
Yeah. Morthal's got his light crossbow out loaded, pointed right at the door.
Okay. I'm going to ask during this rest time, I'm going to let everyone know, in case people are curious, the way this works is you can spend hit dice. Now, because you're level 1, everybody has 1 hit dice, and you start with your healing from 0. So Waves and Brine, you each can roll your hit die. Now, your hit die is whatever you used for your hit dice. I think for a Paladin, it's probably 1d8 or 1d10 or something to determine your hit points, the die that you rolled. And Brian, it would be the same for you. I don't know if it's a 1d8 or a 1d10. Whatever you rolled for your hit points initially.
1d10 for me.
Okay, so you can roll 1d10 then, Waves.
Honestly, I can't remember whether it was a D8 or a D10.
Wow, Waves had a hell of a rest. Okay, I'll come back to you in a
Does
second,
it use
Brian.
a con modifier as well?
Yes, you
or have
do.
I got
That's
the wrong
right.
arrow?
So
Oh,
10
plus
plus
my
your
con
con
modifier.
modifier.
I do
Which
have
is-
some con somewhere. Yes. So I'm fully healed. This was fine. I'm okay.
You're fine. You're just like no, totally back to normal. Although your hit dice are gone
Just
now.
regenerate.
Yeah, just yeah.
Bird suddenly like.
All but your leg, which turns into a maggot. No, I'm just kidding. So, and then Brian, for you, let's see, you are. Let's see,
She's also
because you're a
1d10,
fighter.
she's
A
fighter.
fighter is probably. I don't know if a fighter is 1d8 or 1d10.
I'm pretty sure it's 1d10.
It's probably 1d10. I know barbarian is 1d12, but
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is.
as you know all too
Miss
well.
those 3-digit hit points.
Yeah. Okay.
1d10
A
for
fighter has hit dice of 1d10. Yes. So Brian, you also are going to do 1d10 plus add your con.
Plus
to
my
it.
con modifier.
7. That's also pretty good. So 7. So you are back to 7 of 13. Silvo, are you going to use your hit die while you're? Actually, you can't because you're staying awake, right? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm going to stay awake. I'm bundled in the corner. I'm only
Okay.
missing table talk. I'm only missing 1 hit point. So
Okay. So, as you folks rest, when you all come to, your eyes flicker open after an hour, and Waves and Brian, you can see that you are now in a, you're in a small, well-furnished room, and you can see Morthwill is sitting with his crossbow pointed directly at the door, and Silvo is in one corner of the room, like legs pulled up, and you are both awake now.
So Silvo is not using his hit dice?
no.
Because he was only down 1 hit point, so he decided to hold on.
Ah,
Yep.
okay. Yep, so I'm... Yeah, so Wave suddenly like snaps awake and looks pretty good.
Silver just looks up. He's like, "Hey, there she is."
Brian looks
Look-
rather fed up that she's been downed yet again.
Well, it's good to see you both up and about.
You're awake.
Thanks for that. Sorry about that. I think I slipped on an arrow or two.
Silver just looks down at the now dried blood stains all over his coat. It's like, yep, you certainly did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I scare you? I didn't mean to.
I'm just glad. I'm glad you're all right.
What have we missed?
Well, yeah. Waves also looks around like, where are we?
We found a side room, other room. Silver thumbs towards the door. It's like, that's the room you were in when you fell. We took you in here and barricaded the door, basically.
It were here the danger door.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like the danger door was the right choice.
I think that was probably a good choice.
Yeah, sorry. You guys probably didn't see the danger door, did you?
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
assuming
there's
it's a door that is
It's probably a
danger.
door we don't want to go in right now. It's basically
Mhm.
bolted with the word danger written on it in common. So we didn't want to just barge in there and go, any healing items, guys?
Aye. Let's point out that both of them left the wardrobe open, so the really nice coat is on full display for anyone who looks over.
Looks very nice.
I'm just like, Mortal got a new coat, and I got this shiny stick. And I hold the candelabra. I found this shiny stick.
I
Well,
look
that
at
book
this.
as well.
This is like a green shimmering silk coat.
The inside of the coat is in this iridescent green silk. It doesn't seem to be shimmering as if, with light. In fact, actually, this room is dark now that I think of it. You don't see anything. Yeah, actually, I forgot because
If
you
they
took
have-
out the candles,
I'm
so
really candles.
it's just dark. So,
Oh yeah, the two characters with dark vision have been in the dark room.
Yeah.
so actually, your eyes open just to reveal darkness. I forgot about that. It just-
And then you just
Right,
hear
I'm
Silver
blind.
go, hey, there she is.
Yeah, exactly. Waves, you're
Okay.
like, well, the grub reached my eye. I can no longer see.
Yeah,
You
it's
just-
all over. If nobody collected my lantern that I left in the other room when I dropped it to take out my shield. That didn't do me any good.
Yeah, that's true. You would Morthwheel or Silvo have brought the lantern in here?
I would
Didn't
not,
occur to
no.
me to. No.
Okay, so then it's
I
just
was,
in there.
I was
Okay.
in too much of a panic state trying to save Brian, so no, I was
Okay.
very like,
Well, then Waves, you hear rather than see them talking to you.
Hi.
Just trying to listen to where they are.
There is, and I will say, there is a little bit of light just flickering below the door of this room, so it's not utterly pitch dark.
Both will pose a
flint and
little.
steel.
Oh yeah, okay. I was going to
Okay,
do a
I was-
fancier thing. no,
Oh,
yours
go-
is more
no,
practical.
No, if it's fancy,
No.
if it's fancy, by all means.
So, well, I pull out a
Hi.
little rock, scratch at it with my lock pick, and produce a little 5-foot radius of
Don't.
light.
Don't make it scream again.
Ah, glowing rock then.
I have a glowing rock to go with the screaming rock.
Hey, how you doing?
I have a collection,
Don't mix those up, okay?
a rock for every occasion.
Don't
You hear
mix-
Waves making all the, hey, how you doing sounds.
Ah, you're awake. You're feeling better. You had us worried there.
You
Feeling
two
a
gave us
little
quite a
better.
scare.
Thank you so much for looking after us. Yeah, I think I need to avoid sharp objects. I think that yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid sharp objects from now on.
I mean,
At the
I'd
mention
probably
of
just
sharp
avoid-
objects, I look around for my sharp object.
I've got to be honest. I think
Still
when
on
we're
you.
done with this house, it kind of needs to accidentally, deliberately burn to the ground.
Yeah, screw this house and everyone in it. Apart from us, obviously. I mean, we're cool. But absolutely screw this entire house. This
It's
house
just not
wants us dead.
safe.
It's definitely not up to code.
I mean, what if a child wandered into here?
Silver
Well,
makes no mention.
I think that that's possibly why they sent us here. I can understand why they were a little bit worried about this place now.
Just
I
love it.
started to think vampire rats would have been the better option.
I'm starting to think vampire rats might have just been those giant weasels, you know, and Silver just rubs his shoulder again. Do I hear anything outside?
Make a perception check for me, please, Silvo.
Nope, that's persuasion.
Stop persuading things.
12. Can I persuade you to make that higher?
Yeah. No, you do, in fact, hear something. And you're not the only one, because what you hear is from outside, you hear. And as you kind of lean closer, you can hear that it sounds,
I don't care what you're saying, I'm telling you. This magic mouth went off, the screaming, we heard it from upstairs. There's got to be someone here, someplace, and you can see for yourself they're dead as stones.
and then, I don't want to hear your excuses. Find them then, no matter what it takes.
All right, I'll take some of the lads then. But as we go through this place, you better be sure you're careful. Whoever these things are, they've done some damage to our people.
Those people were idiots. Find them, and when you find them, bring them to me.
All right, as you wish, Lord Sabalet.
And as you hear those words, Lord Sabalet, Silvo, you hear steps coming towards the door. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close for today.
Nothing like a cliffhanger.
So, good stuff. I'm sorry that that Ananda and Pyron had to be quiet for that last 15 minutes while Silva was looting the room and while one of those doing
I
other
was
stuff.
looking for objects that may be useful for the other party members. It just so happens I also found items that were made out of gold.
Yeah, it's true. And 8-bit, I did like that. I mean, Silva does have dark vision, but the image of, as you said, let me have fun imagining sitting in front of a wall thinking if someone comes down this corridor in front of me, I'll be ready. Because like if you didn't have dark vision, you were sitting in a dark room, just like I'm ready to come up and get anything. This was a really, really fun session. First of all, we got We got the grub thing, the maggot grub thing, which was, I think, suitably creepy to keep everyone creeped out for a while. And as I think it was Morthwill said, this house is just creepy crawly manor, right? There's a lot of stuff there that was really crazy. And then you had the ambush that came up, and you had to deal with that scenario. We learned that waves can just inflict incredible amounts of damage, as can Brine, who one-shot people, but then was herself shot down, as was Waves. All of a sudden you found people who are not obviously creepy crawly residents of this place, but are something else. So who is that? Who is the mysterious Sabalet? What will we find next? You'll have to find out by checking in with us next month. I will start, as usual, on the bottom and work back up. Not the bottom of our hearts, just the bottom of the column. And that, of course, is Ananda. Ananda, I mean... So Brian, first of all, I was loving the RP moments of, first of all, maybe we should go somewhere other than the... I think it's good to explore other places than the screaming. But then I was also really having fun with you doing the whole like elaborate, here's everything ever about a secret door, because you're trying to like get back your credibility. You're like, here's all the details about a secret door. And obviously Brian did some serious damage to the bandit. It was just... Brian can't win for losing when it comes getting knocked down. Part of that it's a function of level 1, but part of it is just the scenario of you being, these people ambushing you and stuff like that. But, you survived. You're alive. You're here. How did you feel about today? Where will fine folks see you next?
I had a really good session today. Obviously, 2 sessions for the last 2 weeks, and I've been down 2 times. I'm hoping that's not going to be a trend.
Right.
We continue on. But I had a lot of fun today, yeah. And Brian, she's yet to find her land legs. She's got her sea legs down, and she's fine in a boat. But on the land, she's still finding her land legs. She's quite bolshy and quite sassy, and she's got a bad reputation. So being hit and downed and missing things grates her a little bit, but everyone seems to be helping her out. So yeah, she's I'm loving her as a character. Plus, I'm loving all of the other characters and the way they're interacting as well.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's a fun group. Where will we see you next, Ananda?
I will be over on my own channel on Thursday. I've got some stuff happening at the end of the week that's going to scupper some of my weekend plans, but I'll talk to Tim about that offline. But yeah, I'll be back on my own channel on Thursday where I shall be cosplaying. So that's happening.
Ooh, nice. Good stuff. Thank you, Ananda. Good stuff today. Also good stuff as always from Peripheral Mike, who again, cosplay that he did today. Cosplay is on point. That was and again, we got a chance to see some real interactions from Silvo. I like the way that you've been playing Silvo as someone that has things happen to him sometimes just as reactions, Silvo. And I think that makes sense also just for his age, relatively speaking, and sort of the circumstances that he's been in. And also I was cracking up at the idea. I was thinking of like Ultima 7, like trying to fit everything into a backpack with like Candelabra plus, or Diablo, like the book. How does the book fit with the... that was very funny.
I keep pressing my messenger bag and just all the loot just flies out.
Yeah. It's not going to get the job done. But we have that. And then of course you've definitely found yourself in the midst of a kind of deadly place down here, kind of freaky place, although you're all making your way through it. How did you feel about today, Mike? Where will the lovely folks see you next?
I absolutely adored this session. I cannot wait. I'm already wondering when we can do our next session. Yeah, I'm genuinely already thinking, cool, when can we do the next session? What the hell's on the other side of this door? What are we going to do? How much damage is Waves going to inflict? All this is running through my mind right now because Waves is an executioner. Like, there is no...
Yeah, really, Waves, good God. But then gets executed a couple times, like also gets hit. And...
That's fine. Glass cannon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with that. I really enjoyed exploring Silvo's kind of reactionary magic. I know we've spoken about that before, and very much viewing at this stage because he's a level 1 sorcerer and didn't really ask for this. So he's never really had chance to, through story reasons that will come about, at a later date, he's never really had a chance to practice this. So everything kind of, it has no shape, it has no form, it has no finesse. He looks at people like Morthwin, and they use items, and they have their firebolt has fire colors and effects and heat and all this sort of stuff. He's like, wow, cool, fascinating. I have no clue how to do that. So his is very much a case of he's just reacting to the situation around him right now, for the time being, anyway. And stealing anything that isn't nailed down is just part of his natural character arc, and that's going to be a thing moving forwards. But I've genuinely really enjoyed it. You can't actually catch me doing anything right now because I'm not actually streaming or doing. I'm still kind of taking a bit of a break after being sick last week. But as soon as I do, there are plans and there are things afoot. As soon as I do, you will be the second person to know. The first will be my Twitter feed, which you can find out at Peripheral Mike on Twitter. So check out my social media channels and stay tuned.
Good stuff. Everyone should check out Mike's stuff. Also, for those of you who haven't seen this, shameless plug, if you check out my Eberron campaign, which runs twice a month over on my channel, you can see another one of Mike's brilliant videos. So we have the Eberron video, the Talisman Adventures video on here, which is amazing, the Saltmarsh video on here, which is amazing. This is all Mike's work. And so Mike has done a great job, and I am very, very fortunate to have a bunch of talented people, including Mike. So you should check out his stuff, and you should commission stuff from Mike, even if you don't stream. You should just get him to do a video. Like, can you do an intro video for me of my life? And just do an intro video. No, Mike, seriously, I appreciate the work you've done. It's great.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And and we will see you next month. Saber, Morthwheel definitely had a number of things that you had to be concerned about, and I did like the idea that you were trying to get the healing thing to work, but you're like, oh, well, it's not going to work. But in the Artificer mode, that plus the lock picking of firebolting, which has been, that's a fairly steady. Most of the time you've hit with that, like most of the time you've been like, it kind of consistently produces. And I'm really glad that someone looked at the book, so I got a chance to talk a little bit about the fact that you have this apparently book of erotic poetry, which everyone is at pains to acknowledge, fully illustrated. Very important that all be listed out. But in any case, it was fun to see that, and to see your sort of like, now what the hell do we do? When you're inside the room and realizing you're like, just to remind everyone, I have no spell slot. We have no healing. We're, that kind of thing was fun to see. Where will how'd you feel about today, and where will the lovely people find you next?
I mean, today has been great, but this mansion can do one.
Yeah, man. Everyone said it was haunted,
Yeah, haunted, not infested. It's like, you open the door collapses into spiders. Just everything just is infested with stuff. It's a nightmare. It has been a lot of fun. It's been great because there's we're all starting to know each other and bond, and we're getting all our little personalities and in jokes are starting to form, I think, which is always fun. And like you said about with Morthwheel, I've been enjoying sort of trying to flesh out his backstory, because he's not as good as he used to be, and he's made his peace with that. But the bit when he's he ran out of his healing charges, he's like, I used to be so much better at this.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And as he levels, I can almost imagine him sort of maybe this gives him an opportunity for a second act he didn't know he had. You know what I mean? Maybe that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I'm glad he got a shield already, because that sets me up for level 2 very nicely, actually. Yep. So that's going to be something to stick around and watch for, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can always catch me back over on my own channel. I will be streaming there Thursday next. Probably carrying on with Yakuza 3, since I'm back on that series again now, because I love them. Great, goofy fun, much like our D&D campaigns.
Good stuff, Saber. Thank you, and thank you again as always for Moobot and Dashboard, but very good stuff today. And last but certainly not least, Pyron, I mean, Waves the Executioner, Waves crashing against enemies, against foes is what you ought to call yourself. Man, Waves was doing some serious damage, although not 24 points of damage. I'm glad we resolved that problem. But no, Waves was doing some serious damage. And we also got a chance, first of all, as I mentioned at the end of the last session, Waves being able to pick up on the sound probably helped convince Silvo and Brian to actually take a chance to go downstairs. And if you're just going to continue to just annihilate enemies with a rapier this way, that's going to be something. But again, you also then got, on the other side of that, you also got hit a couple of times with some major damage, and of course that grub thing was not so fun to deal with at all. So it was kind of an up and down thing, I would say in terms of like poor waves in both directions. But still, you came out of it and you're hale and healthy. Everything's just fine. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the folks find you next, Pyre? The foes crash against waves. Yes, Triffid, that's a better way to put it. The foes crash against waves. Sorry, Pyre.
Yeah, well, Dex Space Paladin, and I rolled really great stats, so that's actually a thing. I'm a bit pissed that I picked up my shield and I had 19, and that scout still got me. Oh well,
Yep.
I need a better shield. Or a worse scout.
A tower shield.
Or
I was going to say a combination of worse scout or a bigger shield. Yeah,
Yeah.
taller one. Just get one of those tower shield. You know that's
Something.
Yeah.
And I really hope that somebody's going to show the book about tides to somebody who has something to do with the sea and everything. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And people will see me again on Thursday at 7 p.m. UTC in my usual Thursday slot.
Nope.
Oh,
Oh,
we've lost Pyre.
Freeze.
Oh dear.
Let's have it at the same time 2 weeks running.
It did, didn't it?
It did. Also, that's a really this picture of her like.
Where am I?
There we go.
Shmuel,
Oh, you're back. You made
I'm
it.
back.
Okay. You were just
It
saying.
just left me.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Wait,
Karen.
how far did I get into everything I was saying because I kept on
You're
talking?
like, then I'll be back, and then you just.
Okay, so I'll be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. UTC in what should be my usual regular Thursday slot. Pathfinder Rite of the Righteous will release on Thursday, and if my PC can actually handle it, I might stream it. But no promises, I need to test first. If not, maybe another RPG, because I'm feeling really RPG-ish, especially after our sessions.
Seems reasonable.
Maybe some Morrowind, I don't know, something. Just, I'll play a game on Thursday on GOG here. You'll see me there. That's it.
It'll be good. Good stuff. I really, really love playing with this group, and I am excited to play with them next month with all but Inanda and including Chai for Talisman Adventures, and then obviously this whole crew for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. That's going to be a good time. Thank you so much, players. Great stuff today. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing players? Spread the word. Let Wizards know. Tell them all. Bring them in. And can we get some love for our amazing players, Pyron Jade, Darksaber2K, Peripheral Mike, and Inanda. Great stuff today, everybody, and I will see you all next month.
Thank you so much,
Bye
Alf.
for now. My pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
All right. And that is going to do it for today. Oh, goodness. Wait. Don't do the video yet. You'll do the video in a second. You can see it's already getting dark in the room. It's getting dark earlier. We're heading towards fall. That's what is happening, people. But this was a great time. I really, really enjoy playing with this group. I've been so lucky with all of my campaigns. I just love all the players for different reasons. They're really great, and this campaign has been fun in the same kind of way. So I really enjoyed myself, and I hope you folks did as well. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about it being a deadly level 1, or it's like damage can happen level 1. It's true. But also, the Saltmarsh, Greyhawk, it can be some scary stuff waiting for people. So we will see what the impact of all this is going to be, and why these people, who is Sabalet, and who are, why are they telling them, and all that stuff. A conspiracy. We're going to find out. And it's not going to actually stay quite this combat-y, although there is a fair bit of it, it's true, and I think maybe some of that may be related to what they've stumbled into, but we will talk more about that. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow us here on GOG.com. Please make sure to subscribe to us here on GOG.com as well, and please check us out on our individual channels where we have our own individual subsystems and, Patreons and all that kind of good stuff, as we've already discussed. I will be back here next Tuesday for Pen and Pixels. My guess is that I'll be back playing Solasta. I have to obviously set up my schedule. I'm going to be trying to set that up this evening. So my guess is it'll be Celesta next week, but I don't know. But again, you'll get Talisman Adventures and Ghosts of Saltmarsh, of course, next month, which will be great. And Celesta as well. I'll be back on my own channel on Friday. I don't yet know when I'm playing there either. I am now into playing Mask of the Betrayer on Neverwinter Nights 2, so I may well, usually first weekend of the month, I try to do for my own video game stuff that's not necessarily tabletop related, so you might want to jump up to that. Thank you for the follow on my channel. So you might want to check in on that. That'll be happening Friday at around between 8:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern. And so, yeah, that's what we got going on. I go back to school on Thursday. I'm back teaching again on Thursday. In person, my first time of in-person teaching in 18 months, because I taught remotely last fall, and then I was on sabbatical this past spring. So I'm going to be back in the classroom in person, which is, I have mixed feelings about. I'm very, very pleased to be able to be back in the classroom where I belong in terms of teaching. Teaching remotely it worked okay, but it's not really that's not what I signed up for. On the other hand, pandemic, everything, so there are, however, mask and vaccination mandates, so in place at my university because they're smart. And so that and my own vaccination status means hopefully everything will be okay. But in the meantime, I'll be a little bit uncertain about it for at least a couple weeks until we can feel like we, settle down with everything. But it also means my schedule will stay more or less the same, but it means that bonus streams will probably be dropping down a little bit because I'm obviously got school and a bunch of other things that I'll be doing in addition to various Kickstarters and stuff like that I'm running. So you'll be able to find out more about that on my channel and more from me here. And it looks to me, if I do my usual Pen and Pixels every week, then it's 291. So 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. That would mean that the first weekend of November would be episode 300 of Pen and Pixels. So we may have to do something special for that. I don't know what it is, but November 2nd is going to be the 300th episode of Pen and Pixels on this channel, which is bizarre. It's amazing. It's been wonderful, obviously, but it's amazing to me that could happen. So we will see what happens when we get to that point. In any case, I got to rise up on out of here. I want to hold on one second. Okay, so I'm going to, November 7th is your birthday. Oh, very nice. My birthday is only a couple of weeks away, actually. My birthday is September 16th, and then November 7th is your birthday, so that's good. November 7th, good birthday stuff. Anyway, but I'm going to rise up on out of here. I hope you will join me over on my channel on Friday, and I hope you will also join me back here next Tuesday. The Crocs will be coming at you on Wednesday, but that is going to do it for me for now. If you like what you saw and heard, follow and subscribe and do all that good stuff. Thank you for being a part of this, and please spread the word about the channel, about the show, about the D&D stuff that we do, and thank you all for being a part of this. Until I see you next time, everyone be good to each other, enjoy the last few days of summer, and I will catch you folks next week or on my channel at the end of this week. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Have a good night. Oh, and I almost forgot. Special thanks to my players, Pyron J, Darksaber2K, Peripheral Mike, and Ananda. Great stuff today. And with that, chat, everyone be good to each other, and have a good night.